Here we go. We are live. So welcome to the Hangout, guys. I appreciate you coming in. So we're going to go have it. We'll go around the table here. We'll start with Kennis because I think some of you might know Kennis from, we did some video collaboration a while back, sort of like a podcast thing. We were talking about all kinds of stuff, actually. So introduce yourself, Kennis, where you're from and what your YouTube channel's about, all that kind of stuff. And we can, sure. We'll start with you.
Kennis Russell. I'm from Houston, Texas. My channel, I do a few things on it. Part of it is it's mostly guitar rated, doing gear reviews and that kind of thing, similar to Shane, but he does a lot better job at it than I do.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. And then I like to do a lot of guitar mods. Nelson, kind of similar to you, just fixing up guitars and that kind of thing. And then also in the past, I've done a lot of music theory, and I'm going to get back into that coming up pretty soon here. So mostly it's guitar demos and mods and then music theory.
Yeah, cool. I think back in the old days too, you used to also upload quite a number of backing tracks as well.
Yes, back in the day I did. Yeah.
Cool.
Just finding time to make those that's the hard part. Yeah.
Okay. All right, up next we got Lando27Music. So feel free to say hi. Tell us a little bit about your channel.
How's it going? Yeah, I'm Landon I'm from Canada, Ottawa, Canada. And my channel is kind of, I just copy everybody else, what everybody else is doing. And I try to do my own spin on it. So you'll see random different things all the time. But yeah, mainly, I guess it was mainly, I'll save the story for later, but started with just gear demos because I had the stuff here in the basement. So I thought, why not just give it a shot? So it's been about a year and a half now. So it's coming along. It's fun. It's cool. I used to write music and play in bands and stuff like that. And so the creation part is what I like the most. Just I like making the video and then releasing it and then seeing how it goes. I find that really fun. So
yeah, it's exciting to sort of see if it has reach. And when people respond to it positively, it's always a good feeling too, as opposed to the opposite. Which I've had a few of those over the years. So
you can spend a ton of time on one that you love and then you put it out and it's nope.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to watch that. But I wanted to. Oh well.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining in. I know you've been on other hangouts we've done in the past as well in terms of the community ones, but great to have you on board on this one here. So we'll go to Nelson next. How are you, man?
Hey man, I'm good. Thanks for
joining me. In. No worries. I'm
really good. I'm happy to be here. I guess I'm supposed to tell you a little bit about what I do on my channel. Let's see, a lot of guitars come through here. I touch a lot of guitars. Some of them leave in various states of change, and hopefully better than when they came. That's just a guy in his basement. I went to the YouTube University of Guitar Repair. You know, Davy's Fun World of Stuff. And, another guy from your neck of the woods, Shane, who was my fave, but he's dropped off the face of the earth, and that was David Fletcher.
I don't know if
I haven't watched any of David Fletcher's videos. He makes incredibly beautiful guitars from scratch.
Wow, okay, cool.
And he was one of my favorite YouTubers around the time that I started, which was 2013, 2014. But anyway, yeah. So
yeah, I'll have to
just play pretend.
I'll have to check him out. But no, your channel's great, man. It's good. It's just something very different to what most channels are when they
the idea is that
they're kind of addictive as well, just like watching you kind of noodle around with stuff.
Yeah.
But, for whatever reason, they're enjoyable. It's good.
That's my aim. If it's just entertainment.
And I should also actually we'll come back to that question in a sec. But so up next we got Nick, who I met a couple weeks back.
Yeah, in person.
A month ago now or something. Yeah, how are you, man?
What's going on, guys? I've seen Shane in the flesh. I got to see him scour a music store for the 1 or 2 left-handed guitars that were in tune and set up. It's a sad thing that you poor lefties have to go through. I mean, I would save a lot of money, but it's horrible. But hey, my YouTube channel is basically on low cost gear. I try to keep most of what I look at under $500, whether it's amps or guitars, kind of that sweet spot where there's some good stuff around, and then there's some absolute junk. So it's kind of my corner of the world.
Yeah, cool. Good stuff. And I was shocked how tall Nick was in person, or how short I actually am in person. That could go either way. So yeah.
Even people though that I see at work are surprised. They're like, "How tall? You're what, 5'11"? I'm like 6'1", 6'2", in that range. They're like, "Oh, I just look small."
So we've got. I've just loaded up the chat. My live chat wasn't working up until right now for whatever reason. So, howdy to everyone who's watching already. We've got about 40 people in here. Terry's moderating, so welcome, Terry. Thanks for doing that, man. Appreciate that. We'll keep an eye on the chat and ban everybody on site. No, he'll be good. So we've got Juba. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but I just donated $3 to the live stream. So thanks for that, man. I appreciate that.
Nice.
So we're going to take some Q&A as well today. This is something that I think we might be guilty of not taking enough of on some of these hangouts. So we've got people from all different channels here today. And if you have any particular question, feel free to just shoot us a message on the chat, and I can ask whoever you want to ask. If they're not, I'm probably pretty certain most people are watching the live chat as well in here. So we're happy to take questions as well. So. All right. So, okay. One thing I just wanted to point out, Anthony from Texas Blues Alley, I nearly call him Stevie Snacks from his old channel name. He can't make it today, unfortunately. He sent me an email. I've sent him the link just on the off chance he can make it, but unfortunately he'll have to be on next time. So, but he's looking forward to it, so that's good. We will have him on at some point pretty soon. So he was on the fence whether or not he'd be able to make it. But, so one question I was going to ask Nelson is, I noticed recently that he got a Mustang 3 version 2. Yeah. What's your thoughts on it? Yeah.
I love it, dude. It's, you know why I got it. You know why I got it back. I owned that amp. It's in fact right in front of me. Somebody traded that amp to me for a Gibson guitar case. It was like in brand new pristine condition. I was like, okay. So I had this case that I wanted to sell. The guy traded me this amp. I was like, this isn't really my thing. I've always sort of been against software controlled amps in theory. And then I started watching your stuff again, and I was like, could totally use that. And then, but by that point, I had sold it to a friend for really cheap. And then he was keen to get rid of it about the time that I was keen to get it back. So it all just sort of worked out, and it's been here ever since. And I love it.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
It's amazing.
We got to watch Pixie Licks play through one in Boston, Nick and I, when we were at one of the guitar centers. And he's a very he's a ripping guitar player, and it was great to hear someone use like the heavier settings and just sort of shred it up. It was
that's some of my favorite stuff about it. It sounds amazing. Like I did a video about a Telecaster a little while back. Was it a Telecaster? Oh, maybe I just put it on Instagram, and people were like, "Oh, I can't believe how heavy that guitar sounds." And it was just the setting on the Mustang. The Mustang ripped. It's amazing to record through for my situation.
How'd you get started on YouTube? What was the thing that I'll go around and ask a few people this, but yeah, I'm interested to know how you got started doing what you're doing, because it is different to
me.
A lot of other channels out there. Yeah.
It's I had 2 brand new guitars. I've never really played guitar extraordinarily well. I would say I probably play guitar better now that I've been making YouTube than I ever have. And I had these 2 guitars. I went and I took them for a setup. I paid a lot of money for the setup on 2 guitars, and when I got them back, it was terrible, and I was really upset about it. And then I had already been watching Dave's World of Fun Stuff by that point. And then I just thought, you know what, the hell with it. I'm going to start learning to do this stuff myself. And then I don't know how much longer it took after that, because we were living in Vancouver at the time, but I didn't have a lot of space where we lived there, because Vancouver is expensive to live in. But we have a house here. And yeah, I don't know why. I'm a bored stay-home dad. I used to work IT for many years, and I was just out of boredom. I thought, oh, I'll start a channel to see.
Guys.
Because it's like sort of log type, right? Because I'm learning this stuff, right? Because if you watch some of my early videos, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. Look, I've learned all of this stuff along the way. And I have to keep reminding people that, because people come and watch my videos and think, oh, this is a guy who knows what he's doing. No, it isn't. This is a guy who worked out how to do what he wants to do well enough to get it done. And, you know, along the way, I've gotten better at doing what I do. And I really just enjoy it. It was really just mostly for the sake of not being at the mercy of somebody else. Mm-hmm. And I've always been handy. Like, I've repaired cars and bicycles and motorcycles, and I'm that guy who, if I see the dude across the street with the garage door open and any kind of tool making a racket, I will.
Yeah, cool. Oh no, good stuff. So I want to ask Landon a question about. I know he recently. We've got some questions in the chat already. We'll get to these in just 2 secs. There's plenty popping up here. But you recently got a new axe. Is that the one on your left?
It's right here.
Camera right. Yeah.
It was actually just on. If you go to. Sorry, I'm not near the mic.
Gorgeous.
Cool.
That's American Pro Tele. Oh God, I can't say the whole name. It's so long. What the hell is American Professional Telecaster Shawbucker Deluxe? I think I always get the names wrong when they're more than 3 words.
No,
actually, if you go to Nelson's channel, we did a setup at his place last week, and he just put the video up. So quick setup.
It was mostly us talking. You're just mostly looking at a guitar on my table, and
actually, you can't see our faces. It kind of looks like
and his socks.
And my socks. It reminds me of the Peanuts, or not Scooby-Doo, Snoopy. When you don't see the adults' faces, you just see their bottom part. Yeah, exactly. That's what it.
You have to really want to watch that video.
It's no swearing though; it's censored, so that's good.
All of them are going to be like that from now on. That guitar is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Tell them more about that. That guitar is amazing to play. Tell them about the neck and all the other features. And the little dots. Show those, because I didn't really show those well on my channel.
I don't know if it's going to show up very well here. There's actually...
This is amazing.
That shows up. There's little white specks that are basically when you turn it to 10, it's to mark the 1 or 10, so you know you're at the...
Oh, okay.
But they've been drilled into the pickguard right
pickguard.
through until you get to the white part of the pickguard, so it looks like a little dot.
Kind of like, clever. I guess, on a Gibson, what are those little those metal pokey things?
Yeah.
I'm very technical when I speak.
So I got to ask Kennis this. I saw, other than the fact that he looks like he's lost quite a bit of weight since the last weekend.
Thanks.
Could be wrong. Yeah. Looking good, man. I saw you posted a video about changing your lifestyle up, which was a lifestyle in terms of losing weight. I mean, not that you're an alcoholic or anything, but yeah. But good stuff. And I want to. What was the question I had for you? What was it? It's just slipped my mind. There was. Oh yeah. When you first you posted a video recently, and I could tell you were almost trolling in a good way. I thought there has to be a follow-up video to this. You did a top 5 reasons why Squires are better than Fenders. And man, I've never seen a video blow up so fast on the internet. That was amazing. And I thought to myself, I'm sure you're going to do the opposite. And I was waiting, and then there it was. I was like, yes. So how did those videos go, and what sort of response did you get, and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I made 3 videos. One was, and I filmed on the same day. So there was like 5 reasons Gibson Les Paul is better than a Fender Stratocaster, and 5 reasons a Fender Stratocaster is better than Gibson Les Paul, and then 5 reasons a Squire is better than a Fender. Okay, it's not like definitively this is the case. It's just there are reasons that some guitars are better that you like about things better than the others. So when I typically video on my channel will get about, it's like 93% likes to dislikes. You know, it's 93% positive. I think that was what my average was.
Yeah.
And that first Gibson is better than Fender was like, it got down into the 40s of thumbs downs to thumbs up. I couldn't believe it. But it was just funny how people got their panties in a wad and I would like message, like, hey, the other one's coming soon. But I guess it just kind of shows like some people are Gibson people and some people are Fender people, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm both. I'm not either or. And we've talked about kind of the decline of Gibson a little bit, but yeah, it was, and you know, for whatever reason, YouTube picked it up and like really pushed it. So I think that Squire one has like 160,000 views or something like that, and most of that came like right off the bat. And so it was kind of, you know, typically on my channel I might have, I don't know, you know, in a week I might get like 2,000 or 3,000 views. I'd be very happy with that. And then, you know, it was one of those when you look at it and it was like within the hour there was, you know, 1,000 views per hour, and I was like, geez, and just the comments just streaming in. But yeah, I like that 5 Reasons series. It really kind of, I don't know. It was kind of trolling. There's a lot of people that accuse me of clickbait, you know.
I've been trying to push Lando into that.
But the good thing was you were on topic. It wasn't like you said, you know, you put up a picture on the thumbnail that had nothing to do with the video or anything like that. It was actually like it was relevant to the topic. And I think that's the difference. You know, you weren't.
Yes.
Yeah, the clickbait thing doesn't work so well. If people don't watch the video, then I won't get pushed. So you obviously did well in the content there too. So
you gotta do
it's funny how people have their perception, and you know that it's just there would be some people that would comment and they'd say I agree with every single thing you just said, and then other people that would just, you know, write a dissertation point by point, you know, why I'm just full of it or whatever. I just think it, and I have a rule on my channel. I never respond negatively. I know some people do, but I just don't see the point in it. So if I'm ever like, if I ever get a really negative comment, I'm like the opposite of negative, and I'm positive to it. So like sometimes people will be like, this guy's an effing moron. He knows no idea what he's talking about. Just wasted 5 minutes of my life. And I'll write I sincerely apologize for being so stupid, and I really wish that in the future I can get smarter and not waste your time any longer. Please forgive me. 1,000 pardons. You know, just
that's who you remind me of, Kennis. Smarter every day.
What's that?
That's who you remind me of, is that guy who does Smarter Every Day.
I don't know.
The YouTuber who does Smarter Every Day? Oh, never mind. I'm sorry.
No, I'll watch it.
He's huge. He is huge.
I'm looking him up right now.
Science channels. Sorry, off topic.
No. All good. All good. So Nick is pretty much the biggest guitar nerd I know now. That's your official title, mate.
It works.
What's new in your world? What's coming up, or what do you got your eyes on? Or
So yeah, lately I've been trying to work on my recording rig so I can do more videos, and most of it's like silent type stuff, so I can record on my lunch break at work. I've got a lab that I can record in, but I can't rock out a Marshall in the middle of a 1,000-person office environment.
You can play your guitar at work? Where do you work that allows you to do that?
I work at a very large multinational printing with a leader in mass personalization and customization. If you buy business cards, you probably buy them from us. That's the end of the hint. But I work in video conferencing and video and IT and all that kind of stuff.
Just let you have all your rig there?
Yeah, I have the best boss on the planet. But I have a lab, so for all the video test gear and big Tandbergy, Cisco televisions.
Is that why you have the green screen stuff now?
Yep. So I set that up over a whiteboard.
Yeah, buddy. So are those cameras from the company too?
No, that's mine. That's mine. I could though. I have actually a really nice camera that I could rig in. But but so I bought a Mesa Mark V 25 head, which is awesome. The cab clone, like everybody says, it's not good for driven tones, but it's passably acceptable for cleans.
Depends which video you watch.
Yeah, well, it depends on if the person paid for it or not, meaning they bought it themselves or they didn't buy it themselves, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I have coming in to be here on Monday, which is the new 2 Notes Captor, which is I was going to buy a live, but after spending $1,000 on an amp, the $750 for a studio live was a bit much. So I got the Captor, which is like $250. You still need to use a software-based impulse response stuff, but for silent recording, for demos, it should work great. Plus, it's got a built-in, you can go straight through to your speaker, you can go silent, or you can do a 20 dB reduction, which for Fender amps, when you want to get breakup, like it's great for that kind of stuff. So I that's
I would
my
love to
latest
see what
in the
that
playlist.
looks like. When you get done with that, are you going to do a review? Because I'm
Oh,
really looking to get one of those as well.
And for $250, the price point is like beautiful, spot on. And they just did a blitz, so I think that the 10 or 15 channels, I'll put up videos from last week, from Glenn Fricker and Henning and Baker and a bunch of people. And everyone's like, this is pretty good. And the 2 Notes guys are great. Like, I think anybody that's ever dealt with them, whether it's Derek or Guillaume maybe in Europe, they just do good stuff. So I'm psyched about that. That has me over the moon, and it gets here on Monday.
That stuff will change your life when you record. It's great. I mean, I used it all over my last album for bass and guitar. I use it on all my demos, unless I'm doing an amp demo, but just with all the pedal stuff, it sounds so good. It's really good and saves your ears, and your neighbors will love you, and your family will probably enjoy you more as well. So
that's the big deal,
Yeah.
I guess I'm the one lucky guy that has this crazy. I don't know anybody else that has a room that's soundproof that was able to do it. Right. I don't know if you guys know, this room is it's a room inside a room that I built in my basement. So
Holy
I spent
crap.
a lot of time. I did a video on it, and a lot of people actually check out that video, not my other stuff that I'd rather them watch, but they watch the video how I soundproof the room. So I can play a guitar, I can crank it at night and not worry about it. I mean, to a point, it does. You can't go insanely loud, but I can. Most people can't play an amp at night because that sound just an amp just goes through everything, right? Like it just. I don't know how it does it. Just
my amps. If I played in this room, I'm 75 feet from the bedrooms at the other end of a log ranch. My wife's like, it's louder in the bedroom at the other end of the house than it is in the room that I'm sitting in. It just projects. It's like a big double F fingers to me. Like, no, this is
It's like you got a lot of timber in your house too. So
it just projects.
Resonates.
Yeah.
Goes through metal ductwork and all that stuff, right? Just carries.
Oh yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. I went to try and build a silent recording box a while back. I had one. Like I had one by Randall. It was like a box with padded insides and a speaker in there and a mic in there. And there's so many guys that can kind of build their own that kind of work, but it's just one of those instruments. It's super hard to really cancel properly. Like there isn't any way of acoustically like dampening the sound enough if you're living in an apartment or you got family around or whatever. It's just you're going to hear it, even if it's the low end just booming through in the other room. It's one of those weird sort of, it's just a weird and a hard instrument to sort of cancel the noise. So the 2 Note stuff, man, I'm a huge fan. I love mine. I think it's an absolute plus for doing videos and all that kind of stuff. So we got heaps of people in here now. We've got over 100. So welcome everybody. We've got Jamal. We've got Ed. Felipe is here. Lots of familiar names. We've got Steve. How are you, man? I'll just go through a quick shout out here. We've got Jamal. I think I might have just said him already. Sorry, Charlie. We've got Watchman, Pete, Luca. Man, lots of folks here. So if you have any questions, I'm keeping an eye on the chat. I know we had some before, but the chat is scrolling along. Thanks, Terry, as well for moderating the chat. I can see he's already banned 12 people. No. He's doing all right. Someone's obviously been causing some ruckus in there. So, thanks for all the positive comments here, guys. This is cool.
There can never be any ruckus like when you used to have this as an open invite to some of your stuff. And we had the onslaught of videos of just you can't unsee.
No, that's still like emotionally scarred me, some of that stuff, man. That was crazy. So I used to just paste the join link into the chat to see if people wanted to join. And that was the worst mistake you can ever make doing one of these, because all the spam bots will pick it up and you can't do anything about it. And the stuff that they'll play on video, you can't boot them or anything. It was horrible.
That's
So
awesome.
those videos didn't see the light of day on the public YouTube after we had them.
I missed those. I wasn't around.
Yes, there are some people will video some really sick stuff, and you can't unsee it. That's about as far as I want to go on that. But yeah, like Shane, it stuck with me. You're just like, what the? Anyway, it was fun.
Here we go. Ben Chan's got a question for Nick. He said, hey, Nick, what made you want to point your direction into cheaper gear?
So two things, right? Like, so I grew up in a household. My grandfather played a Gibson Super 400 and L5, two of the most expensive Gibson jazz boxes, had the best of the best. My uncle, who's like my best friend, 6 years older, always a Gibson, always a super high-end guy. But I bought a couple of cheap guitars. Then I bought a Gibson ES 135 semi-hollow jazz or semi-hollow rockish kind of thing, single cut. Loved it. It was great. But dude, like $1,000 thing to me, if I ding that, chip it, hit it, especially then, but even now, it just crushes my soul. So I started looking then, this is like 2000, 99, 2000. I started looking at Agiles. Michael Kelly at the time was selling their seconds on YouTube. They weren't seconds. It was just, I think they were paying their rent by letting outside dealer distribution stuff go out. And I talked to Tracy, the CEO, who kind of maybe said that could have been what was happening. But they were good and they had nice quality and it was kind of contrary. So I'm a collector, you know, like I like to buy things. I like to find things. I love the hunt. I really do. And I'm shameless about it. But I tend to do this. I go buy a bunch of cheap stuff, dump half of it that isn't good, maybe buy one nicer, more expensive thing that ironically I still never play the damn thing, and then go and buy some more cheap crap over time. And it fits into my like stuff I can afford. But the cool thing is I am wired as such that I am more likely to play a cheap guitar that I put good pickups in that has a setup and an action and a playability that it has no right to, 10 times more than I'm going to pull a Gibson out of a case and play. And there's something of like, I don't know, the irony of it, or like you're getting away with something, or this has no right. There's an enjoyment of that side of it. For some people on the net, it is the most illogical thing. I had a guy that hounded my channel under a bunch of different names for a while that was like, just dump all your stuff, buy a single Gibson R9, and then you'll just be focused on that one guitar and it'll make your world better and shiny unicorns, rainbows, and happiness and world peace. Which is great for him. Like that's how his deal is. Aspirational, get the one great guitar, maybe back up, and that's all he ever needs in the world. I'm just wired different. So the cheap stuff is fun. And it's getting better and better. There's just hard to separate the good from the bad in the cheap seats.
I've got an interesting video coming up I just filmed yesterday. And it's kind of like the law of diminishing returns when it comes to music gear. I know like most people will know what that means, but it's basically like the more you spend, how much better does your tone actually get? And that's coming up in the next couple of days. So I'd be interested to see. My thoughts kind of changed a little bit on gears recently, especially I think there's just some really great gems out there that you don't have to spend a lot of money on as well. Like that someone mentioned in the chat earlier, that Fender Deluxe Plus 112 amp or 112 amp that I played while I was in San Fran. It's like an $80 used amp, and it was so good. Like, and I really almost don't think there's that much difference in my tone with that gear as opposed to my A rig of stuff. Like, there's not a lot in it. I don't know. What are some of your guys' thoughts on, you know, if you find good, cheaper stuff?
I was going to say, Shane, because of you.
Sorry?
I was going to say, Shane, because of you, I now have an amp that I absolutely, I love it. I think it's next to the Blues Deluxe, which I really like. It's sound that you can feel in your chest, and it's just a little PV Classic 30 head.
Nice.
But a 115E cab. And it's sound that you can feel in your chest. It's got that really crisp, strident tone. And I've never played PV before. It's just not a brand that I would have ever thought to have even tried. And I thought, he likes these things so much. And Lando's got one. I'm going to try one of these things. And then Richard brought that one by, and it was like, I got to have it. I got to have that thing. And I love it now. It's just sound you feel in your chest.
Yeah, that's the trick. You can find good amps that aren't expensive that really hit you in the that hit you and sound 3D, and then you get some that might be more expensive that don't do that. One amp that I think
was the Princeton.
Yeah,
I had a Princeton that felt like that.
They're great little amps.
That
the expensive one, the tube one. With the Jensen in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I assumed you meant. Sorry, not the solid state.
Not because they make a few different models of those.
Yeah. Actually, I found one recently in San Fran. It was a Princeton, like a tube one, but it had no reverb. I've never seen one of them before.
They're the original. That was like this. It was the slightly more than a champ. I think it was a 10-inch speaker version versus maybe an 8-inch in a champ with no reverb. People like them. They're like a baby deluxe before it had reverb. Kind of neat.
Yeah,
do you guys use onboard reverb or do you prefer pedal reverb?
Amp. Yeah, amp? Just so one less thing to worry about.
If it's
I don't like an amp without reverb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wouldn't buy an amp if it didn't have a reverb circuit in it.
Yeah, me too. It's tough.
Yeah. Even if I don't use a lot of it, which I usually do use a bit of it, but I'd prefer just to be able to turn it off on the amp than
I can't play without it now.
Not have it.
I love it.
Yeah. I think what it does, a friend of mine, Ryan, said to me, he goes, man, you respond when you play to what you hear coming back at you in the reverb. Like it actually
Big time.
gives you a bit of space because you can hear it kind of clanking around and all that kind of stuff. And you play, I reckon he's right. Like I never really thought about that until someone pointed it out, but it gives the guitar a little bit more vibe.
I've become addicted to delay too now because of you.
Delays.
Stereo
What are
delay.
you using? Yeah.
I love stereo delay. I'm a big fan of the stereo delay. Just real short, like just to thicken up your tone a bit. Amazing.
It just makes you sound better. No matter what you're doing.
Right?
With some verb and a little bit of delay, you just feel better. You go for things that you can't do.
Yeah.
It's like a fast car with traction control.
I usually try to save up. I either use delay on rhythm parts if I'm playing behind someone and I bring my sort of volume down, or I use it just to try to make my solo sound better at some point when I'm running out of chops. That's how I like to use it live, especially.
Yep.
Yeah, you sound so good live. I saw some of the video of you live. Played so good.
Oh, thanks, man. Cheers. I need to get my fingers back on the fretboard. I've been a bit lazy since I've been back in terms of playing. So I'm only really doing 1 day a week, maybe 2 where I'm playing. I literally have lost my calluses, which is almost a first. I'm supposed to be doing an album next week, which I'm going to try and do like a video series of that as well, like the recording process and all that kind of stuff. From maybe a 5-minute clip each time we get together or something. So I really need to get my chops back together. Anyway, it should be interesting. So, Kennis, what's news with you, man, in terms of gear? What's some of the cool stuff you found, or what are you using, and what are you into?
Well, let's see. Right now, I just bought a Fender bass breaker. It's like
nice.
right here.
Which one did you get?
The 15.
Yeah, nice.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I got it used, got on Craigslist, which I do everything. And then it was interesting, though. I played it at home, loved it, and I took it to rehearsal for my church. And I got it mostly for the DI because I was like, that's why I'm interested in that captor, because I wanted to just go DI out to the desk. And I played it. You ever have that, like, where you play something you're really excited about and then it just sounds like junk? That's what happened. So, but I'm not dogging the bass breaker. So I was like, something is wrong. This sounded like I had everything set up. This sounded great. And then I took it back home, and sure enough, somehow in the transportation, I broke one of the EL84 tubes. And I turned it on, and literally when I saw it wasn't glowing, I went to pull it off, and it went punk, and it was just the glass. Just the glass came out. I'm surprised it didn't cut my fingers. But so I bought new tubes in it. I need to put new tubes in it to see, because still the DI thing didn't sound great to me. So I'm wondering if there was more than one tube bad on it. I don't know. Got that. And then my first guitar ever was an Aria Pro 2 Les Paul. And this was like I forget what factory that is, the Matsuguki, whatever the Japanese factory is that made all those great guitars. Matsumoto. It's one of those. And you know, back in the day, I didn't know anything. I didn't know what was good and what was bad. I just knew it wasn't a Gibson. And so like my whole life, I just kind of thought, yeah, this is some cheap knockoff. And it's like a great guitar.
Yeah.
But like 5 years ago, I was like, I'm going to take this old guitar. And at the time I did not own any other guitars, electric guitars. I was more of an acoustic player. Now that's changed, but I decided I'm going to mod it up. So I replaced the tuners, replaced the pickups, replaced the bridge, the knobs, the pots, everything. And then just this last month, I've put it all back to stock because I wanted to put it back to stock because, you know, I was like, man, I made this thing not as good as it was. It was one of the few times when you start modding stuff that I made it worse. So I'm excited about that because that is a killer guitar. And since that I've, you know, now that there's the internet and I'm able to say like, oh my gosh, actually this is a great guitar. It is like when I played it next to other Gibsons, it's like, matter of fact, I think maybe you guys would have some experience with this. I don't know, but in my estimation, if you were to tape off the headstock and just hand it to somebody and say, hey, this is a 70s Gibson custom Les Paul, and I don't think you'd be able to tell the difference, honestly.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I love Japanese stuff. I'm a huge fan. I don't own any Gibsons anymore. I've owned probably 5. Not to say that they're bad, but consistency-wise, I love Japanese stuff, and it's a lot cheaper. And this goes back to my point before I was talking about that law of diminishing returns. For me personally, I'm not going to sound any better playing a Gibson over a Tokai. It might look cool to the guitar nerds watching, but it's not going to make me sound any better. I really don't. I almost can't justify it anymore. Like maybe I used to. Maybe I'm just getting old and wise.
That's how I ended up on choosing this guitar because I wanted some reason in my mind I had to get a Les Paul. Oops, I'm gonna drop it here.
There's something cool about them though. I got to say. I mean, they are cool guitars, but once you've owned one and then you've played one a quarter of the price that does the same thing, you'll go, oh.
And the price here in Canada, a 2017 Les Paul Standard is $3,000 plus tax. So it's like 3,600.
No,
that was not super cheap. That was 1,900. But I think that's like my top. That's the highest I'd go.
Mm-hmm. And to finish Kennis's thing, go find those Area Pro 2s with a set necks from 76, 77 through 81, 82. Bernies of that era. Grecos from that era. If you can afford a Tokai, Tokais from that era the Tokais from that era are actually the same as a Greco for a little while. But they're all from the best factories. They hold up well, and I think better than like new guitars. My necks don't seem to shift on those guitars. I pick them up, I play, I tune it, I go. They're not pissed off at life because they're 30 years old, and I bought most of mine from Japan for $500 or $600, and they've got honest wear and tear on them. But the good Japanese sellers take 47 pictures, so there's no surprises. It's the guitar. They're awesome.
Have you ever bought one with the bolt-on neck? Because I'm curious about that. It seems to me like I wouldn't, but
I'm a snob. I was like, sort of the suggestions I sent to Shane was, what are the hang-ups that we have that are just stupid? And that's one of mine. A bolt neck Les Paul is a stupid hang-up that I know makes no difference. And I mean, it's a big difference in price. You get those for $300.
Right. But I totally get you, because that's the reason why I'm asking you, is because it's kind of like, I don't know if I could do that. Nobody even sees it.
Structurally, there's no reason not to have it.
Right.
You can keep, because it's something you can just keep going forever, right? Like a bolt neck guitar is something that you can just keep going with forever and ever. But once you got a set neck, then you get into the neck moves it all, if it's in the wrong place, and you got to take that off. That's a big ordeal, right? Especially, but I'm just like you. I would not have, particularly myself. I would not have a bolt neck Gibson Les Paul. I might have a bolt neck Les Paul type guitar. I might consider like one that isn't a Gibson. But if it was a Gibson and it had a bolt on, it had bolts on the neck, I would be like, I'm not having that.
Well, I don't think Gibson ever made a bolt-on, did they?
Not a Les Paul.
No,
But they made the Sonexes, and they made maybe the
Baldwin.
the Baldwin, yeah. But they actually made some Gibson labeled ones with bolt necks.
Oh yeah, the Sonex guitars. That's
Sonex 180. The Marauder might have had.
This is that new $99 one. What is that?
Epi.
That's
a
an
little
Epiphone,
guy.
right? Yeah.
The Epiphone Special.
Do you have that?
It's the Smart Man's version of the shitty M2. Sorry for the language, folks. Horrible guitar. Buy the Epiphone.
And I told myself I wasn't going to curse on Shane's channel.
I know. Comes out.
Me, the guy who's more famous for cursing out a whole group of all of us.
I was going to say that Epiphone Special 2 that I had a chance to play while I was away was awesome. And it had a bolt-on neck. And I remember looking at it, I picked it up and I looked at it and I went, well, that looks kind of weird. And then, like, I didn't even think twice about it once I started playing it. And that's an interesting point. I don't know how I'd feel about buying a Gibson with a bolt-on neck if like you said, they might not make them. But
I think Nick,
an Epi, I wouldn't care too much. Epiphone, I'd be like, well, it's only $100. You know, why not?
Sometimes you get a cheap guitar that just for no reason feels great.
Yeah.
You know? And I've told this story 1,000 times. My cousin Nate wanted to play. He wanted to try it. He didn't have a lot of money at the time. I brought him to the Mr. Music in Boston, and they had a Jay Tercer on the wall. $70, and to this day, I dream about buying that stupid guitar from him because it just was the magic 1 in 20, 1 in 50. It sounded great. It played great. And even the guy in the store was like, I'm sorry to see this thing go. That's the guitar I pick up and noodle with when no one's in the store.
So we just got a question here. Has anyone played FGN guitars? I haven't heard of them before, but I think it might stand for something in Japan.
It's Fuji again. It's the same factory that makes the Tokais, that kind of stuff.
Okay,
it's their brand.
No, never heard of it.
Haven't played them.
Nick, you really do know your guitars, man.
Oh, I'm a nerd, man. Because I can only play guitars for so much, so I do a lot of reading. You know, like.
Yeah. And you can only play one at a time. It's
yeah. You're trying to do the two. Who's the guy that plays the two of them at the same time? One with each hand. There's a guy.
I did ridiculous. It. Tom something. I did. He has a pedal. They sent me his pedals to demo. I forget his name. I'll look it up.
Is it? Oh, it's not that Tom. Is it Tom Quayle? Is it the guy's name?
No, let me find it here.
Tom. All right. So, how about GFS pickups? That's another question we've got here while we're
Guitar Fetish. I think.
Yeah,
I have tried Guitar Fetish pickups.
Yeah,
I think they're. Which one did you try now?
Michelangelo Battista.
Yeah, that guy.
My buddy ordered them just on a sort of a lark for his the 70 Strat. Actually, it's here. We ended up putting the original pickups back in, but he was like, "Oh, these ones squeal." We took those out to pot them, and he bought those GFS, like a loaded pickguard, right? Like just right from their website, and it sounded thin and tinny and worse than any Squier set of pickups I've ever heard.
The Squier pickups aren't bad.
They were terrible. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Squier pickups generally sound
pretty good.
They sound like a Strat.
Here's a question for you, Nelson. What, in your opinion, out of replacing pickups and all that kind of stuff, what do you think is some of the better budget ones out there? If you've had a chance to sort of go, oh well, these are sort of the middle of the road. What one would you say surprised you, maybe, irrespective of brand?
Some of the boutique pickups, I was going to say, would be surprising. I would say that if you can find a guy that makes pickups, like that has a passion for any boutique builder, I'm talking about any. Generally, you're going to find somebody, who's taken time to source parts and materials and done a lot of research. So you're probably going to get a really good sounding pickup for half of what a brand name pickup would cost you. And I'm about to do that with a fella that I met. He watches my YouTube videos, and he sent me, I've had tons of boutique pickups now from various, all over the place. And it's consistent. Anytime I get any kind of boutique pickup, you can tell just by the way it's constructed that it's probably going to sound good. And they usually sound full and rich, and they're generally half the price. So I say that if there's somebody in your town or in your state or your province, if you're Canadian, who makes pickups, look for people locally who make them, because that's going to be probably the best bargain, because you're probably also going to be able to talk to that person about the kind of sound you're going for, right? And they're probably going to have some idea of how to help you achieve that sound. So as far as I'm concerned,
totally.
like boutique pickups, like guys who make them themselves.
Yeah. I've got a set of. Oh, sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
Go for it. I'll say quick. And Hunter, Aguafish will back me up on this. There's a guy named Tim from Buddha Pickups. He's on Reverb. Exactly that dude. And it's like $125, $150 a set, give or take. But it's where do you want to get? And his stuff is always just great.
Amazing, right? Like, and it doesn't matter who it is. If it's a guy, you can usually tell about the guy who's making them and how, like, you know, you're going to be able to tell what sort of quality you're going to get by you know, the person that you're talking to. If you're sort of, you know, but boutique of any kind, hands down.
No, I totally agree. The two best local pickup guys that I know here. One of them I've built some pickups for that Little Crow guitar that I've got, and he balanced a Telecaster bridge pickup with a mini humbucker in terms of output, and he kind of underwound maybe the mini humbucker, but they sound pretty balanced, and it's great, man. Like just chiming in all the good stuff that I was hoping for. You know, you like give them a description of what you're looking for, and they come back generally great. The only time I've been disappointed with boutique builders is any time I've decided to try noiseless pickups from someone who makes them. I'm not saying Fender makes good ones, by the way, or whoever. I'm just saying, like, I've tried them all. I must have tried 5 sets of noiseless pickups from different companies over the years, and even artist
noiseless
endorsed
pickups of any kind are bullshit.
Yeah, I haven't been too happy with Strat ones. Tally pickups, on the other hand, I mean, now recently there's better companies out there, but this was going back like 7 years ago where I tried all of them and I was pretty dissatisfied. But you know, the ones I've got in my Telecaster, those Joe Biden ones are pretty wild, man. Like they're as nice as you're going to get without any buzz.
That's why I got rid of my Telecaster. I had a Telecaster with noiseless pickups, and I traded it for my ES339, which turned out to be a really good decision.
Nice. Yeah, they're great guitars, man. If they ever made a lefty in one of those, I'd be very
so
tempted.
good, Shane. It's so good and so stable. It's the best Gibson I've ever owned. And I've had some dogs. Like I've had some dogs with wavy necks and, you know, stuff that won't stay in tune or is just the biggest problem I have with Gibsons is necks that are set at the incorrect angle. Okay. So you end up with very little in the way of adjustment in one way or the other, or everything is way too far away from the body, so you lose tons of sustain. And I see so many Gibsons like that. Like the 339 that I have right now, everything, like the neck was set really well. Although not nearly as good as that Epiphone that I had. And I'm starting to look at guitars now more from a mechanical sort of standpoint, like how well is this put together? Mm-hmm. Because, you know, when you don't play as well, as you guys, you focus on these other things that don't mean anything.
No. It's
no,
you do
Nelson,
right.
you had.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Nelson, back in the day, I remember watching, it might have been the reason why I subscribed to your YouTube channel, was the dummy coil pickups.
Oh, yeah.
You still do that?
I've done a few of them. But what I've discovered is that if you're going to go with those dummy coils, it has to be oriented, first of all, in the correct position. But the best thing to do is if you want to do a custom set, I've seen guys actually do this professionally. You lose the middle pickup. So you take a Strat, and because not a lot of guys will not at all use this pickup, right?
Right.
So this pickup just loses its pole pieces, and that becomes your dummy coil. So you just stick something in here without pole pieces, and that becomes your dummy coil in either position. And it's silent.
Nice Strat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you get that?
Got that from some guy I know.
All sounds a bit
But to stick a
suspicious.
set of boutique pickups in it from Lethbridge Instruments.
Oh, cool.
Plug in my homie.
You asked about the cheap pickups. I bought a few sets of Dragonfire pickups. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those or not.
Yep.
And, you know, I don't really know. I mean, they sound great to me. The reason why I buy any cheap pickups, though, it's going to be, I don't know what that pickup should sound like, or I'm not experienced with that kind of guitar. Like this Strat behind me that I built, had never had like humbucker pickups in a Strat. I guess those would be hot rails or whatever, like the humbucker in the single coil size. So I just bought like a cheap one on Amazon just to see what it sounded like. And actually, to me, it sounds okay. But there was another one I bought at a Strat that I put some of those Dragonfire pickups that they're supposed to be like David Gilmour active pickup knockoffs type thing. But it's like, that's the kind of thing I don't even know if I want. Like when I built that, I didn't know if I'd want to have active pickups in a Strat. So
say it. You guys tried active pickups? Any of you?
Yeah, just that one Strat.
I don't.
I tried my first set the other night at EMG's.
Oh yeah,
my buddy Rob has bought an LTD, and I was shocked. I was blown away. They're crystal clear and sparkling clean, and with tons of gain. You can just hear every note. They're amazing. They're completely changed my mind.
But they will show every mistake you make, which is why they're still negative in my book.
Like, I just had this idea in my head. That's like going on misconceptions, right? Like misconceptions, like you were talking about with bolt-on necks. Like, I just had this idea in my head that EMGs are just for pointy headstock guitars and metal, right? And I aesthetically don't like the look of them too much. They look heavy metal to me. If they looked a bit more traditional, I might not have such a strong objection to them.
They have them.
Or had, rather.
They have ones that have a normal silver case with 6 holes where a pole piece would be with black, so at least they're not as visually assaulting.
They are sort of visually assaulting, but they did sound amazing. And doubly, I was amazed by that LTD, which was another guitar I never would have thought to try. Have you guys tried those guitars, LTD, SP?
I actually picked one up yesterday for the first time. They actually had a couple lefties at one of the stores I live near. And I was pretty surprised how nice a guitar those were. Being a lefty.
Very good build quality, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They had like a lemon burst sort of Les Paul style one in there. And I checked it out and I thought, you know what, this is really good. And I always thought ESP were all pointy and it's a brand I've never really looked into. Yeah, I've just... But yeah, it was cool. It wasn't pointy at all, actually.
Schecter, same, yeah. That's a brand I've never tried, actually, Schecter.
They're probably awesome. I just can't. I just feel like I'm a 16-year-old kid buying a guitar. Like, I don't.
You know what it is? You need to get the 8-string model, and then you'll be set.
But they have a few really funky things. They have like a weird Firebirdie with 3 TV Jones things and a Bigsby that is one of the coolest, weirdest little guitars ever. Completely counter to what they think they are or what we think they are.
Have any of you guys tried any Framus guitars? I haven't seen any for sale anywhere near here in Canada, but I would love to try one.
I've tried a lot of German-made instruments. They're made in Germany, are they, Framus?
Yep.
So they are. That's right.
Warwick
now.
Germany and Czech Republic.
Cool. I've had a chance to play some great guitars made in Germany. The best ones I've ever played are the new Cuba ones. I haven't played Framus before, but I'm sure if they're built as well as the rest.
I owned a Framus parlor guitar for quite a while. I wish I still had it. It had a bolt-on neck.
Cool. Oh, we got a question here from Blue Eye Phil. And he says, hey, PV fans. I think we might just mute Kennis here.
Sorry.
Are you taking a leak, Kennis?
He's going to the washroom. No problem.
He could have left his...
Maybe it really was straight.
Just the sink.
Oh, so now he's peeing in the sink, obviously. Can't hide that.
That's dark.
He's been banned. Come on.
Yeah. Terry. Where were you, man? So Blue Eye Phil asks, hey, PV fans, what are your thoughts on the Bravo? I think it's a small amp. Has anyone come across the PV Bravos?
No.
No, me either.
No.
Oh, well, that was easy.
Funny, actually. So I've got the red... What am I saying? The Bandit 112, the red stripe over in the corner again. That's become my favorite amp again out of all my stuff right now.
Speaking of which, Shane, I'm going to tell you from one of our followers, stop driving up the price of PV at Bandit.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
From Tim in Australia.
I
It's funny how you find sometimes. I was in love with my Vox AC15 for years. I said I'd never sell that. I sold it a couple weeks ago.
I talked you into that.
I know.
What made you sell it, by the way? What was the thing about it that you ended up not liking? Because I played Vox exclusively for a few years, and then
I just wasn't playing it. I wasn't using it. It was just sitting there. I was playing the Katana. I'm playing the Bandit. I have a Vox MV50 head that I'm playing through a cab, and the AC15 was just sitting there. I'm like,
and you really wanted the Telecaster.
And I really wanted to
die in for the Telecaster.
Kennis, I don't know if you're checking the chat here, mate, but you've. Oh God. Anyway, so yeah, there is a mute function on the right of the, the chat that we all see here. We can mute cameras.
Still muted.
We can mute cameras
so
like
this. You're gonna
this.
be in the sink. We don't all have to hear it.
Oh man.
Oh, he's still muted. Something's going on.
Yeah, I can't.
Who invited the clown in his basement?
I think you've got your mic off, Kennis.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Maybe I've muted him. Hang on. I think I did. One sec.
So Nick, you're half Portuguese?
I am. Yeah, we're from the Azores.
Are you
Yeah.
like my kids?
Oh, you're from the Azores. You're a criminal.
Yes, exactly. Well, and you know you're a criminal because when they came here, they chose the name of like a rich family. Souza is the family name when they were Cabrals there.
no
So you
way,
know there was
I'm
something. Oh, okay, I know I saw it. So they.
Is that your last name, Nick Souza?
Yeah. No, it's
At the front door.
It's Paris, but I was born Nick Souza. Then my mom remarried and got adopted in there. But that was my birth name.
You were born Nick Souza.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's my last name, D'Souza.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm not supposed to be D'Souza. It's stolen.
Is it really? See,
I'm supposed to, down the line somewhere, because I'm sorry, everybody, to take this over with him.
Portuguese history, but
down the line somewhere, somebody changed our name from Amado. Do you speak Portuguese?
Only enough to get myself punched in the face by someone from Portugal.
I digress. Sorry, people watching Shane's channel.
We need to compare notes though, because my family did the same exact thing, and the name changed when they came over. So it would be interesting to see.
Oh no, ours stayed the same. The same, but it's been the same for 3 generations. But somewhere down the line, we just for no reason, just our name went from being this to that. Okay.
All right, so we've got a question here from a statement from Quinton James in the chat here. He says if anyone goes number 2s, he's out of here.
I promise I won't go number 2 in the sleep.
Oh God, that's hilarious. Anyway, so hey, we got Hutch from BA here, man. How are you? Thanks for dropping in.
I saw lots of people talk about katanas, and I wasn't really reading all the things, but people are mentioning the katana. I don't know if anybody else.
Do you have one of those, Shane? Do you have a katana now?
No, not yet. I just borrowed one off a good friend of mine when I did the video. It was great. It was pretty cool. I think I had too many amps at that point.
You still rock the Mustang?
No, but I borrow my mate's one from time to time as well. I'm weird with gear. I don't like to have too much stuff at any one time now because I don't have a lot of space.
I'm with you. I'm down now. I'm trying to get down to 2 guitars and 2 amps, but I have 3 guitars and 3 amps right now.
I've got 2 amps that I'll take out live and 1 practice amp. And if I end up getting a Mustang,
I'm just a clown who plays 20, 30 minutes every day here in my house. My little 7-year-old wanted to say hi because she's desperate to be a YouTuber. So say hi to about 100 people online. Say, hey guys, today we're going to do something stupid on YouTube.
Hey guys. Hey guys.
If you've got kids, hey guys.
Well, and the kids always remember at the end to say, hey, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.
Yeah. Like and subscribe.
My daughter on her imaginary videos, she hits it every time at the end of her videos. Her ones that she just records on her phone. Don't forget to like and subscribe, whatever.
She's always making imaginary videos. It's the iPad and today we're gonna something. Just blow my brains out.
Hey, they keep some.
I'm stay home dad. That's my real job.
That's true.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting point here. Someone have fun, play guitar. Says Joe Bonamassa can make cheap gear sound good even when he plays it, and I think that's it. It really does come down to your chops. And he is a snob.
He's a gear snob.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I think
when he talks about his signature models, the Epiphones, he calls them kids guitars.
Kids guitars.
Yeah,
Every time.
Remember, he's arguing about capacitor, the caps, and the pots. He's like the hell with the PAFs. The most important thing is the cap and the pot because he's really down.
He's the only guy I believe when you hear him say that. He's the only guy I believe.
Because he's at one point. What was that guy's name that plays the Cliffs of Dover song? Eric
Johnson.
Eric Johnson. Talking about how the coily cables have a better rolled off high end than the
Gordy Johnson still uses them. In fact, I just saw 2017 live at Vancouver at the. You guys listen to Big Sugar at all?
I don't.
No, I don't know what that is.
Oh, you guys suck. They were just live at the Commodore in Vancouver. They are amazing live. He is a crazy good guitar player.
Who is it? Sorry, say the name again.
Gordy Johnson from Big Sugar.
I'll have to look it up.
Oh my God, Big Sugar. They were like sort of a blues rock band in the 90s and early 2000s. Canadian band. That's probably why you guys
very heavy and loud too.
Really loud,
but incredibly polite.
Amazing guitar player.
Good melodies too, like good songs.
Plays a double neck SG.
Yeah,
nice.
Just crazy fuzz with a garnet like solid state head and two big Marshall cab stacks, but with garnet heads. Remember those, Lando? Mate. You know garnet?
Garnet, no.
Canadian, made in Winnipeg.
No.
Sorry. Okay, I'm going Canadian geek here on you.
Maybe Terry would know.
The clown in his basement.
Oh yeah. I forgot Terry was what was home to say about Canada, tucked away down there or something.
No one would know.
All right. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments here. We'll get to them now. I'll get to some more of them now. I'm keeping an eye on it, but I probably have missed stuff as I'm trying to moderate stuff and trying to mute Kennis, all that kind of stuff. Someone will just put that up as a meme on.
Oh gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, so Shane, while we're waiting, tell us more about this Lefties place. Because I was this whole series that you've been doing, going to the guitar shops, is fascinating. And it seems to me like this is just some guy's house.
Yeah,
so
that particular one, Jerry turned he lives on a ranch, like a horse ranch kind of property. So it's got acres in Canada as well.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, hectares.
It's probably 6-7 acres or something like that. And basically, he just turned a horse barn into. He was a builder for many years.
Okay.
So he basically just turned that horse barn into a rockin' shop. Like it's really
That's amazing.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Yeah. He used to do a lot of custom design houses for people. And it's funny, it's been hit by lightning like twice or something. His property.
Now, is he a novelty thing, or is he actually like busy? Do people like actually go to his shop?
No one goes to his store. He might get.
Oh, he just sells online.
You might get a handful of people going there every month, like maybe two, not even a handful, like maybe 2 people might turn up there physically a month. It's not in a actual row of shops or anything. Like you take a road and you go.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to understand. It looks like it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Maybe there's some sort of rule where some guitar companies.
But what's his reason for existing then? If he's not doing much business, just because?
No, he kills it. He kills it
online. Really?
Yeah. No, Jerry does extremely well. He's in a niche where like no one else sells what he sells. He gets stuff made for him specifically from like he'll order 30 PRS guitars that no one else will sell, and he'll have them. He'll be the only guy that has them, or he'll have the only Gretsch guitars in a particular model that you can't buy anywhere as a lefty.
People know to go to him, I guess, right?
Yeah, and no other left-handed shop that are in that niche as well stock the same stuff as each other. So in Houston, they've got Southpaw Guitars. Jimmy owns that. He stocks different stuff to Jerry, which is smart because no one's stepping on each other's toes. And then there's one other shop in Florida that sell pointy guitars and all that. So that they stay out of each other's way. But No, Jerry does extremely well, and he stocks. I really like what he does. He's a lovely guy, but he yeah, his property's beautiful, and it's just a really unique kind of experience going there. Like the first time I was there, a few customers did turn up. Maybe only 3 the entire time I was there, but
are people
every day
stuff's going is he like open for people to turn up there, or do you got to call him? Or
no, he's got business hours. Yeah, he's got business hours, but
okay.
You literally have to you get to his gate, you open his gate, you drive in, and then you go over this little bridge thing.
Should have filmed all that.
I did. Actually, it's on
in the video, right?
Yeah, it's on the Guitar Search Saturday video that went up.
I watched that. I don't remember you having to open a gate to get into his driveway.
I didn't actually show you the front gate, but
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like getting to his driving.
Yeah, I did actually. I've got a longer version of the video from his road and all that kind of stuff coming in, and then I thought.
You have to climb a mountain, swim through a lake.
Yeah, it was a bit long, so I figured I'd just show the car driving through the actual driveway itself.
Yeah, it was a cool shop. That reminded me of some of the places that you see, like these boutique places in Europe. They have them, and they're just like they're tiny little places, but there's like 100 guitars just hung up all over the wall, and like amps and.
Yeah,
that's sort of what it reminded me of.
I would have never pictured that place being there. Like it looks like a normal store when I saw all your pictures from years ago or videos.
Yeah, it's something else, and it's getting better every time too. Like he's got 300 lefties, and some of them that I haven't even put videos up for are like original 1960s, 1940s Martins. No, 1960s Martins, and then he's got 1940s acoustics in there as well. So
jeez, you could have just filmed there for days and days and days.
Well, that's what I did.
Yeah.
So
just I managed
to
get
about 30 or 40, about 30, I'll say 30 videos done.
That's awesome.
We had some technical issues not technical issues, but I was a bit slower the first day until some stuff turned up to make the workflow a bit easier. But next time I'll be over there. He just said to me, don't rush it. Next time you come, stay for 3 weeks or something and just take your time.
Well, because once you get your gear set up, you're basically just swapping out guitars, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's basically just grab a new guitar off the rack, and once your camera and everything's set up.
The hardest thing is, and this might be sort of boring for people watching, but the hardest thing is just file organization. Because you've got 3 4K cameras, and then you've got all those SD cards, and then you've got a hard drive, and then you've got your sound, then I've got my audio. And then all of a sudden, you've got to put these in folders so when you come to the editing stage, you know where stuff is. And I'm about 85% organized, I've worked out. I'm not quite there.
I started using blue tack tape in the scene.
Yeah.
So that I know where to cut stuff and where to like, okay, this belongs here and that belongs there.
Yeah, I learned a lot about... Oh, sorry.
The hard part is the audio file. The camera ones are all right. It's the audio file with the start and stop and like which one is the... Yeah,
when they're out of sync. When they're out of sync is so irritating.
Or just tracking them. Like for some reason, my camera ones, the camera I can tell. I don't have a clock. I'm basically doing the 4 claps. And
but you got it. You can sync the clock though. You can resync the clock. The problem is the camera records at one rate, and you're recording audio at another rate, and the clock is out of sync between those two, and that's what you got to do. And there's some way to do that. Lando knows how to do that. You were the one telling me that it was really easy. That's why I quit.
If you use a Mac, it's easy to sync all your files. But when you've got hundreds of audio tracks, sometimes it's or even 50, it's really difficult to keep on top of it because you get lazy. You go, oh, you know what? I'll be fine. I don't need to organize what I've just shot. I'll do it after the next video. And then all of a sudden, some of the video cameras chop files in sections shorter and longer. And then all of a sudden, you got 4 files instead of 2, and it's. But the organization stuff was what was really the killer.
Wise, if you're investing money, invested in storage space of any kind.
Yeah, I know. I've got so many external hard drives now; it's insane.
No. I mean, in stock of creation of storage and cloud storage, and that's where the money's going to be in the future. Data storage.
The only problem is, unless you live in North America or somewhere else, the internet speed here sucks. So there's no way I could like upload 4K
Is
video.
Is it bad where you are?
It sucks. It's so bad.
Oh, we have the fastest internet I've ever had now. We have fiber optic right to the house. It's amazing.
Yeah. My upload speed is 1.5.
Oh gosh!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
So,
ours is like
we all puke.
I go to bed 30? And upload my files. I got no other choice.
Shane, you've got to go back to work in IT just for a company that has a big pipe to get out of there.
Yeah, where I used to work had 2 dedicated lines. One was an American company, and the other one was a local one, and that was so fast. I used to sometimes sneak uploads at work because it was just so much quicker.
Yeah.
Take like 4 minutes as opposed to an hour and 30 minutes.
Caps too there?
Sorry?
Are you operating with data caps too?
Not anymore. No, I'm on unlimited finally. So I had to pay an extra $10 for that, but it was worth it. So
totally.
Here's an interesting question. Actually, someone's got a question for Nick. Hey, Nick, what's that blue guitar behind you?
It's me typing. There's 2 of them. So if it's that one, it's an Epiphone Les Paul Custom and limited edition TV Pelham. So it's like non-grain filled. So it almost has like a blue jean, metallic-y blue. And that one is a Bad Cat, which is a company that started from someone that used to make Chibsons, illegal copies, came out with their own company, put a really awesome cat headstock on it.
Bad Cat amps as well, don't they?
Well, yeah. So instead of copying Gibson, they choose a name that then gets Bad Cat amps on their butt. You just feel so, nice guy, but like he's one of those guys that would go quiet for like a month and not return anybody's comments or emails. So he's nicest thing. But yeah, this one at least it's gorgeous. I did some nut surgery on it, which is one of the first guitars I tried cutting a nut on and screwed it up. But David, who isn't here but comments on Shane stuff a lot and is almost in the live stream, has been bugging me forever to tune a guitar to B. So I use those wide nut slots and put 7 strings and throw out the thin string on it, and it's tuned to B. And it actually is a hell of a lot of fun in that tuning and just deep woody kind of thing.
Yeah, wow, cool. I don't think I've ever messed with that tuning.
Not anymore. I had a white Gibson EDS 1275 for like 3 weeks.
Oh my god!
I got it for $2,100, which is a hell of a lot of money, and yet not for that guitar. It was an 81, 82.
So bad.
I knew it was in great condition, and I knew I was going to break it, ding it.
It's just the stupidest thing ever, but you want it so bad.
It's ridiculous, and I couldn't get the
there's
most
there's no justifying it. It's just something you can either afford to have or you can't.
So my Uncle Jeff, this older brother, it's like an older brother to me. I gave it to him at cost. He bought it $2,100. I've seen him play that guitar out probably 7 times, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing, right? It's like having a really expensive luxury car tucked away in the driveway that you drive on weekends or once a month. That's what guitars like that are to me now.
Yeah.
Guitars that you could, if you can't afford the oil change, and you can't afford to have this.
Right, and I'm out. And it was really cool to have one and to play it and to see it. It's just, and the case is huge.
Imagine trying to maintain one of those. That's the first thing I would think about. Like, oh my god, imagine trying to change the strings on that thing.
18 strings to tune. 18. Anybody that's recorded. Oh yeah, anyone that's recorded a YouTube video knows that you're going to get 3 comments that say you're out of tune. You're never going to be in tune.
Talking about that? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh, I would love to hold one. I've never even held one.
I had to go pee in the dishwasher. I missed what they said.
Have any of you played one? Have you played one, Shane, in your days of rock and roll?
No, never. A mate of mine's got it.
What's the craziest thing you've ever played?
Okay, the one that, like, all right. I played a 6-string banjo as a guitar, set up as a guitar, but with a banjo body.
Oh, that's cool.
It might not pick up. Yeah, it had a pickup in there as well, so you could play it acoustically, and it sounded like a banjo. It really did. It had that sort of resonator.
Did it sound crazy plugged in?
I never plugged it in, actually. It was I just played it acoustically, but I did a video on it as well while I was at Jerry's. But
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to see how it came up in the end. I'm not too sure, but I haven't looked at those yet. But yeah, that was about it, really.
Guitars? What's the craziest thing you've had?
What, that I've owned, did you say?
No, I was just saying to Nick, he's owned hundreds of guitars. What's the craziest thing you've had?
The craziest one that I've had?
Or yeah.
Oh, me?
No, you Nick, go ahead.
Either one of you.
So the 1275 is probably the most insane. I had a Gibson Reversity, which if you think a regular V, It's really cool, but if you think a regular V is hard to play, try playing a reverse V that is 100% neck heavy. There is no weight this way. So everything is going forward. It is, and I hadn't played in a while when I got it, and the first thing is I went to a jam and just kind of jammed through a couple rock tunes with buddies. I'm like, I can't play this thing. It's just feels. I'm like, I'm awful now. I'm worse than I normally am.
It's trying to kill me.
And I held on to it for an investment for like 3 years, and the prices really didn't budge on them. Even the first 400 run, and I was like, all right, I'm out of this thing. And then go ahead. And then I briefly owned a Gibson USA map guitar that I gave to my Uncle Jeff, who comes up a lot in this, as a gift. So,
I was going to say, a mate of mine's got a double necker SG copy. It's a cheap $200 thing that he imported from China. And the thing just doesn't stay in. It just does not stay in tune. The 12-string thing, especially, like it's brutally bad. Anytime you'll see me occasionally make jokes about those double neckers. I'm always having a laugh at my friend. And I said to him, like, it's only worth a couple $100. I'll buy it off you, and I want to use it as firewood. I want to just like burn it on video and say, this is what these are for. I seriously, because there's a jam we go to on Sunday nights. It's up in the hills, so it's pretty cold. And they've always got an open fireplace. I'm like, let me burn this thing on camera, man. I'll buy it off you, and we'll do it on camera. He's like, oh,
who's the guy who cut the Harley Benton in half with a chain with a saw?
Was it Sam Deeks? Sam Deeks had a couple bad experiences with him.
It was the other older fellow. What's his name? He is hilarious.
Tony Smith.
Hey guys, I'm back.
No, he's got the guy. He has his name on his hat. I can't remember his name. Tony McKenzie, there it is. Yep, nice guy, funny, really crazy, awesome guy.
He's hilarious. Always has like really in-depth reviews of what he's doing, and he cut a Benton in half with handsaw.
With a chainsaw. Oh, that's awesome.
With a handsaw, it was hilarious.
Benton makes a double neck that they sell with case, and it used to be like $450. And Squazoo, I forget what Squazoo's number is, 68, I think it is. Nice guy, got one, and he was like, you know what? It's really good. And I'm like, I still have no use for it. That's even at $500, it doesn't make sense.
So how about you, Kennis? What's the weirdest thing you got in your collection or have had over the years?
Man, I'm like, I don't know. I'm too vanilla. Like I don't have anything.
That brown one looks pretty trick behind you. What's that?
That's we were talking about that before the chat. That probably is I guess the most interesting guitar. Now, I don't know. It's a silver tone from the '60s. I think it's a '67. That's cool. The U1. It was my dad's guitar, and
cool.
So it was kind of cool. He had that. He had that, and then he bought I guess it was a Fender. Oh gosh, what was the amp back then? Fender Deluxe Reverb, and his mom sold the Deluxe Reverb for $25 in a garage sale. And yeah,
oh man,
yeah.
Ouch.
So, but anyway, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I've got some other guitars I've modded pretty cool. I've got a Strat that put in a Graphtec Ghost system with a 13-pin and has the acoustic on it. That's pretty cool. And then I've got two Godin XTSAs that have the 13-pin deal on it too. But I don't know. I'm like, it's like going to be a sunburst or red or black or white. Like I don't know. I haven't ever bought anything that's too crazy out there. Like I don't think I could ever. I couldn't pull off a yellow guitar. I can't, or anything pointy, as Shane would say.
The Explorer was about as crazy as I've owned personally, if you want to consider that even crazy.
Actually, the Flying V was probably my craziest guitar. Come to think of it, yeah, definitely.
Most impractical for me.
Yeah, they're hard to play. You got to stand and play them, or you don't play them.
Right.
I had a Flying V. We had a Flying V here through once. Richard had one for about 10 minutes. And it sounded amazing. It was, I remember, like some of the guitars that roll through here, I just like immediately forget, but some of them pick them up, and I remember giving him a hard time about it too, thinking like, what is this? You're never going to play this. This this is so stupid. And I plugged it in, and I was just like, wow, this sounds amazing. This guitar sounds incredible.
Yeah.
What is something you wouldn't have expected?
Yeah, that's...
This was the other guitar he's throwing up.
Oh, sorry. Oh. This is an SX Liquid. This is probably the weirdest guitar, but it's cool.
SX. Now we're speaking Kennis's language. I nearly bought one yesterday, man, just because of you. I thought, yeah,
aren't you always dogging SX, Shane? Every video.
I might have made the assumption that they were all junk, but because I see them for like $60 at used guitar shops all the time, I thought they were not very good. But I picked one up, a lefty, yesterday, and I noticed it had a V-neck, much like the Clapton Strat, which surprised me. The action was about that high, but otherwise it was. I was like, I could probably fix this and turn this into
it's
something.
Like all the Jay Terster stuff you see here.
Cheap.
They're better than Jay Terster to me.
Yeah, the only bummer with SX is they do funky things with their bridges, so that instead of 3 string holes all in a line going through, they're kind of offset 3 and 3, so that when you try and put a Fender bridge on or whatever, they don't line up with the string holes. There's a couple funky things like that. Okay. But depending on when you get it, the neck pocket might be off by a smidge or not. If you're going to swap gear in and out, but.
Do you find getting rid of these off-brand guitars hard in your neck of the woods, Nick? Because that's the thing I wonder. The thing that I've learned in the last 4 years of doing guitar trading is that the reason I stick with the brands, like, because people always ask me, oh, how can we never see this brand, that brand, or the other on your channel? It's because it's really simple. It's because I got to stick to brands that people know because they're really, really hard to sell used. If it's not a Squier or a Fender or an Epiphone or a Gibson or something that everybody on the planet knows. Like if I try to sell a Harley Benton or some brand that somebody doesn't know, that's just going to sit for ages and ages.
But just I will tell you, so there's 2 things. Benton's I buy new, but having a channel has its benefits. If it's only the Reverb page having a YouTube video that I can put in it when I go to sell it. I don't do the usual, like, this is what I have for sale this month, but I sell in Reverb a lot. So it's not local walk up. Rondo actually sells a little bit over
like here. Craigslist locally.
Yeah, exactly. But this guitar, though, I bought this guitar without the Bigsby for $99. So my exposure and sitting on it and whatever else to sell it, and the pickups suck. The pickups are ceramic, weak humbuckers. They're completely, it's over there sitting to remind me.
If you had to sell that right now, how long would you estimate that would take you to get rid of that? If you were just like desperate to quit that guitar,
I could put it on Reverb and it would probably sell for $150 within a week.
Really?
Yep. But I might mention that I'm selling it in a video, or I may not, or even in the chat. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Right.
Especially on some of the cheaper guitars. It's how you put it. You have a big guess about what you're going to get, and even Rondo stuff, they do 0 quality checking there. They get a box in from overseas.
Reverb because of how much they take from you in the sale.
Reverb
I was going to sign up for a Reverb account. It was like 20 points.
No. It's 3.5 plus 3.5.
Absurd.
No, Reverb. My Reverb 3.5% plus 3.5 for me to sell in the States on Reverb.
Absurd to me how much they were going to take.
eBay kills you. Reverb's actually really good as a seller. Really? I like it.
Does anybody else sell on Reverb? Kennis or Shane or anybody?
No, I usually do YouTube or Craigslist or Facebook. They got that Facebook marketplace.
Yeah, Facebook is starting to turn that up a little bit, to heat up on the used market.
Yeah, they actually forced, them and Reverb have kind of forced eBay to drop their fees, at least in Australia, because no one's using it.
Oh, that's good.
eBay's fees are ridiculous.
Dying here now.
Yeah.
It was 13%.
10% basically.
It's 13 there? Yeah. With the PayPal fee and the YouTube fee and the eBay fee, sorry. Yeah, so... we got okay, so just 2 questions. I'll get to this again. I answered this at the start or made mention of it. Anthony was unable to make it today from Texas Blues Alley. He sent me an email about 12 hours ago just saying he'll be on the next one. He apologizes for not being a part of this one, but he had some sort of family stuff I think he had to take care of. So, yeah, he'll be on the next one. And we got to ask what everybody's first or #1 guitar is in terms of what they play at home, out or whatever. So let's start with Kennis over here, and we'll go. We'll go left to right. Well, what I see.
Well, I guess my #1 guitar is my Godin XTSA. And the only reason that is because I have 2 of them, and in my live setup I use the Roland GR55, and it has to have the 13-pin pickup. and I usually use the acoustic sound with it because in the context that I'm playing with it, which is church, we have another electric guitar player, and so I'm usually just using it as an acoustic guitar, and I hate the pickups in it. I don't know what they did, but they're horrible pickups. I just last week replaced one of them. I put P90s in it, some cheap P90s I got just to see what it'd sound like or whatever. But that's my number one, and then probably next to that is the Strat that I put the Graphtec 1310 pickup in it as well.
Yeah, cool.
But I'm thinking that Gibson or the Aria Pro 2, that may be what I pick up at home and play more because I'm excited about playing that again. Cool.
All right, good. All right, what about you, Lando? What's your? I have a feeling it could be the new one, but we'll see.
It's actually not the new one yet. It probably will be eventually, but it's kind of a different thing. This one is 2004. I gotta get in the camera there. Mexican telly that I've modded the shit out of. Oops.
Oh, this is the one with the red button on it.
Yeah, this one is basically I've tried to recreate a Telly Plus, which were in the 90s, right? They were all the tellies and Strats. I think they were lace sensor. So this is dually.
Is that your ride or die? That one right there, Orlando?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the one I use, and the output on these red humbuckers are insane. I measured them with what do you call that thing? Voltmeter, whatever. Multimeter, that's what it was. What did these come up at?
Oh, you actually said that correctly, Kennis. A lot of Americans say multimeter.
Really?
Yeah, I hear that all the time. I hear that all the time. Ben Hick show. Anyway, sorry, Lando.
Yeah, no problem. This was my first electric. It was like $400 when I bought it, and that's a kill switch. Just a stupid. It's actually like an arcade button that you just cuts the sound out.
Yeah, that's
all
awesome.
Stupid stuff. But all gold hardware and stuff. So, anyways, always loved the neck on it, and yeah. So.
Yeah, neck's a huge part of what makes the guitar the number one in a lot of cases, especially for me anyway. But what about you, Nelson? What one are you going to do most?
My ride or die right now is absolutely the ES339. It's
nice.
I'm converted over now to a couple of things that I was pretty staunchly against for quite a long time, but tall, thick frets and thick gauge strings, and it just sounds and plays amazing. And since I've been taking lessons, I've been having a guy who comes around to the house so I don't embarrass myself as much on my videos. But yeah, like he turned me on to just a few things, and it's now I got to play with thick picks, and yeah, for me, like my friend had a guitar that I owned one, and I would have thought that I would have loved to have one back, an Eric Clapton signature Strat. You'll see when we play the video. I couldn't play it because the frets they're so skinny. It's like the Wonder frets, right? They're not even there.
Yeah.
And I couldn't make bends on it. I couldn't play it because I'm so used to playing the 339 now. It's like all that room to move, right? I even raised my action a little bit, and it's like something to grab onto. And then you got this really slick little it's not for me. That's why I really like the Strat I just got from Lando. This Maxi Strat I just got from Lando because it's got really tall, thick frets.
There's a story to that
and
one.
And a nice neck.
What's the story on that one?
This one here?
Yeah,
Lando.
I could tell it before it got to you. There's in the States you guys have Best Buy. We have Best Buy here too.
Oh, this one here.
They started selling musical instruments for some reason. I don't think they do in the States anymore. And it's really weird to walk in a Best Buy and see these guitar necks sticking up near TVs and fridges. And anyways, I was walking through looking at that one, and it was a demo model sitting on the shelf for clearance. And it was regular price was $7.99 Canadian. They were asking $3.29. I just grabbed it right away. I was like, what? Didn't even. And then the cashier said, we can't sell that. And I said, what do you mean? So I had to talk to the manager, and basically it was no problem. I don't know why she said that, but so that was $329 Canadian, which is killer.
It's a Mexican,
and I paid
it's a
$400 for it used.
There you go. I made some money. I made $10.
There you go.
I've got a friend for, huh?
Nice guitar.
A really well playing guitar, which is why I'm even considering putting any aftermarket parts on it.
Oh, that's weird. Somebody said my video was not displaying.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I could see you fine. I muted your video and brought it back, but they say it's working now, so you should be good.
Telly with lace sensor pickups. So I guess I wasn't showing that before. Like a Telly Plus.
Yeah, very cool.
Something Fender did in the 90s, apparently.
What about did Nick go already while I was gone? What was your ride or die, Nick?
This is embarrassing. I think I'm next. The embarrassing thing about it is the guitar I played the most, hands down, is a Harley Benton L450 Plus. It was
Why is that embarrassing?
Because it's a $125 guitar.
Who gives a shit? It's a guitar you like. I've had plenty of times where I pick up the cheapest guitar I have.
Brand new it sits out in my family room. There's two reasons why. It sits next. I have a Vox AV30 amp. It's a hybrid, so it's a tube preamp, tube power amp, but it's just like a 12AX7 power amp that then goes to a solid state to finish it. So it kind of goes halfway there. But it also has a headphone jack. But that's the one I sit down and play. Is that the one that
you're saving when you run out of the house is on fire and it's burning down right now? You're grabbing that one?
No, I'm grabbing expensive stuff. I'm grabbing my 76 custom. And
you can only grab one. You can only grab one. Who's your ride or die? The fire is burning. The house is coming down.
I have a 76 Les Paul custom. And the 3 pickup.
Now we got the real answer.
The problem is it'll kill me because all 13 pounds of it with a Bigsby on it dragging down.
That's amazing. What about you, Shane? What are you saving in the fire?
Yeah, probably my 52 reissue Telecaster. And I say that because
that's a nice guitar.
It's got sentimental value, and I played it to death. And I've also upgraded the frets. I put stainless steel frets in there. Well, I didn't do it, but I paid a guy to do it.
Do you like stainless steel frets? Are they harder to play?
No, they're awesome. Way easier. They don't
really
wear out. I got 6105s, which are kind of like the middle ground between jumbo and.
That's what I'm going to do to my 339.
They're unbelievable. Yeah, I'll never have to replace them again. It was expensive to get it done here, but it was. I feel so much. I was looking at buying a new neck and all that kind of stuff, and then I just went, no, I just get it refretted. The guy did an amazing job, and it plays great. It plays better now than it ever did. And I don't like vintage frets. I feel like they're not. If you play guitar a lot,
have you played one of those blackies?
Stay away from it.
Have you played one of Eric Clapton blackies?
No, I've never picked up a lefty.
Oh my God, it's an amazing shape back of the neck, but the frets are just there's no frets.
I've picked up a right-handed one before, and I like the feel of the neck, but I've never played it. I only noodled around, but never probably taken notice of the frets. But I like the idea of that
left-handed player.
Albert King.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of. I think he's one of the most talented players I've ever heard in my life.
Isn't he amazing?
Yeah. He runs rings around everybody he seems to jam with for whatever reason. He plays Albert King style too. He plays upside down strings back to front. He's amazing.
That's exactly That's why I mentioned Eric Gales, because he plays
Eric's awesome. I've never seen him in person. I'd like to if he comes down here or if I'm away and he's playing somewhere. But Albert's probably one of the guys that inspired me the most to want to play. I mean, Eric's on a whole other level musically. That guy's just, he can play everything. I mean, if you want to see how good Eric Gales is other than his live stuff, watch him in the studio if folks haven't seen him play. Man, he's like, oh, let's cut two takes of this solo, and it's epic. It's flawless and epic. It makes you sick.
He's a ripping good guitar player.
Yeah.
He's the sort of dude who, if you sort of believed in myth and folklore, you'd think that guy walked down to the crossroads and he made a deal.
Yeah, he's just a beast, and he's one of those guys that can play sort of like the traditional
anything,
laid back kind of stuff, and then he can just melt your face, and he makes it feel good. He's not just noodling for the sake of noodling. You know those guys that play quick and don't really put any focus on anything else. He's not like that. He can play fast and make it feel good. So at least
agree, 100%. And the other
Shane,
guy,
have you ever thought about?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Nelson.
I was just gonna ask Nick.
My bad. Go ahead, Kennis.
Oh.
Landon, go ahead.
Monopolizing it. Go ahead, Kennis.
Okay, I'm just cutting everybody off. Nick, do you got that new mono price hanging around?
It's at my office. It's still
it's
at
your
my
office. Of course.
You want to know do you want to know what's hilarious about the mono price? When I got it and I looked at the finish on it, it reminded me of that L450 Harley Benton. The first one, it's a proper Les Paul shape before Gibson made him change it. It's measurement for measurement, exactly the same. Came from the same factory. It just has a different weird PRS-y Gumby headstock on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have as good electronics in it.
No.
It's too light. Here's another stupid thing. Like, we're talking about dumb things. If a Les Paul is less than like 7 pounds, I think it's a toy. Like, mentally, it's less of a guitar.
Yeah.
Which is just stupid because it doesn't make any difference, really.
It's interesting.
So
I'm not interested. I've lost my interest in their stuff. I had one of their amps, and then actually Nelson has he has the $69 Strat clone sitting over there somewhere.
I do.
Which is actually crazy for $69.
Which he told me to take my time on.
Yeah. You can't say that.
All right, Kennis, you got to say something before Landon cut you off?
Not
friggin' Lando.
I was going to ask Shane, being a left-handed guitar player, have you ever done the, I guess, Jimi Hendrix thing and just strung a righty as a lefty? Or what has your experience been with that?
Only an acoustic guitar. When I was in the States back in a long time ago, I stayed at a friend's place and they only had a right-handed acoustic. So I managed to take the strings off and put the same strings back on upside down. But no, I've tried playing right-handed guitars. I can kind of noodle a little bit with a right-handed guitar playing lefty, but I find my arm always knocks the tone and volume controls. So I'm forever knocking the volume of the guitar down, which is kind of weird. So I always felt like that wasn't something I wanted to.
How did you get started playing left-handed? Because you hear lots of guys who are left-handed, like what's his name? Pixie is left-handed, but he plays right-handed, right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And
and Mark Knopfler and a whole lot of guys, like pros that have just
tons of guys.
Yeah, there's lots. I think.
So, what did you just have access to a left-handed guitar? Or is that how you got going? Or
no, it was literally like when I was in primary school, I was learning. They taught us recorder and all that kind of stuff, and then I was like, hey, I want to learn guitar. So eventually, my parents bought me an acoustic. First thing I'd do was play it left-handed because that's the way I'd air guitar, and I just felt like that was the way to play. Yeah. So they're like, oh. Okay.
But at that point, though, the strings are upside down, or you've restrung?
Yeah, they are. They're upside down. But the first thing my mum did, because she can play acoustic nylon string a bit, she said, we'll just swap the strings around for you. And that was it. We never worried about intonation or anything like that. And she just swapped the strings, and that was it. I played lefty from
the beginning of the end, right there.
Yeah, and then it was only later on I realized there weren't many left-handed guitars around anywhere. That was one of those things. So
you get good at this, and then you realize, oh shit, there aren't many very left-handed guitars available.
Actually, I only played it for a couple of years. I learned a couple of chords, like all the main sort of E, A, and all that sort of stuff. And then I put it down till late high school. And then I think I had a couple of good friends who were into music, and they kind of inspired me to want to get it again.
Friends who told you chicks dig it.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. That was just like I saw that as it was an appealing thing to learn. Like I always thought, hey, that would be cool to learn that again. I still remembered the chords from back when I was a kid, but it was when I first saw a friend of mine play when I was living in the States back when I was like 19. He was playing like a lot of the Eric Clapton Unplugged stuff, and I didn't know any of it. Like I didn't really know any of it, and I thought that's the kind of stuff that I want to play. That reminds me of the Blues Brothers stuff and a whole lot of things that I remember hearing as a kid. And yeah, I got into it from there. But always, everyone kept saying learn right-handed, and I'm like, no, I can't swap for whatever reason. I just knew I was going to stick lefty straight away, and I had shops trying to talk me out of it years into playing. Just this problem.
Years into playing, like no, their ship has sailed.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to buy a right-handed guitar.
I've tried to upend my right-handed guitars, and it's just like, forget about it. It would be like somebody who's never held a guitar before ever in their life.
Because my brain knows exactly what I'm trying to play, but my hand, as soon as you swap hands with anything in life, you can't do it. It's just, if you try to even write your name with the opposite hand, and you know what you're trying to do. It just doesn't work.
My wife's a southpaw, and she does tons of stuff with her right hand that just looks so completely awkward.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, this is one of the, oh, sorry.
Well, I've got if we're at a spot for a good question, I've got a great one. Was there a piece of gear recently that you were really jonesed about, had the money, went to buy it, and then completely didn't because it bummed you out? And I just had that experience with a Marshall DSL 40C. I really wanted it. I had a credit at the shop. I had everything. I sat down. I played it. And I came home. I played my Vox AV30 hybrid-y thing. I went back and played it again. And I was like, I just don't like this one. Anybody else?
I've been disappointed by lots of gear, but I don't buy new stuff. I buy mostly used stuff.
Oh, this was used. Because I don't buy the new either.
I get burned all the time, man. I get gear that I just think, oh, I got to have this. And then you get it, and you're like 2 or 3 days later, like, I quit this thing. So that happens all the time. And for various reasons.
The only thing I can really think of was the other day I went to get a smaller amp for this gig we've got where we don't have any space on stage. Literally have no room. I can't be loud either, so I'm sort of forced into a situation to use a smaller amp. My little Bugera doesn't really fill the space in that room either. It's just, it'd be way too small. So I was thinking, oh, I might go get one of those new Blues Juniors. I'll test them out. So I had the headlights are on. I was like, yeah, here we go. So I went out and I tested like 4 or 5 Blues Junior amps, and I just didn't get excited by them in the end. So I was like, you know what? I'll find something else. And that's not that exciting or new or maybe interesting, but that was one thing I thought.
Blues Juniors in general, though.
Yeah, that's why I'm starting to feel.
5 or 6 Blues Juniors, and that's like every one that I've owned. They're okay.
What I'm finding lately with a lot of it. Oh, sorry, Nelson. I was just going to say what I find recently with them. Maybe this is what put me off them more than anything, but they buzz so much. There's a lot of rattle in the cabinets. The reverb tanks are faulty almost now too. I don't know if this is just current generation ones or what, but nearly every time I bent a note and let it sustain, I'd hear this come through the reverb tank. I'm like, what is that? And the reverb's not even up loud. I went to 4 different shops. I actually filmed a video about it, but I haven't posted it yet.
Yeah.
And and I thought, you know what, I might just give the video a miss, but it was
wasn't that after you returned your Mustang and then you ended up getting a
guitar,
so
two out of the box were faulty. It had exactly the same problem. The other one in the shop had the same problem. I then went just 3 months later, went to a couple of other shops last weekend, had a look around with a friend, and they all had some sort of weird rattle or clank in them. Then I just went, oh man, I'm getting less and less excited. So I ended up not doing anything, which is pretty rare and probably very wise.
I have something right now that I'm not loving that I kind of I'll grab it because I can.
Yeah, cool. And also, folks, don't forget to check these guys' YouTube channels out. I'll post all the links in the description of the video. I think I've already posted names in the description, but I'll post links through once the chat's over with. And don't forget to give the video the thumbs up too. We got 131 people watching, so if you are enjoying it, please give the video a thumbs up. Cheers.
This little guy. This is a Vox 50.
Oh, you saw that on your channel.
Yeah, I've had videos and I really liked it, but I'm just not loving it.
It's weird how things.
Yeah, sure. Or do you want to try it?
I'd love to try that on my 15-inch cab.
Yeah, sure.
And if you're selling it, maybe I'll buy it.
I probably will. It's weird how things.
This is how I get gear.
Yeah. Day to day, I don't know if you guys experience this. You can play something and love it, and then the next day you walk in and try it, and you're just like, "What's going on?" I don't know if it's just.
But that Jensen cab you have is amazing, though.
Yeah, the cab is fine. I just finding this is not. I don't know. It's because I'm comparing it probably to the Bandit 112 and the Katana. It just doesn't hold up to those two things.
I remember when I first saw those, and I was like, "Oh man, I really want to get my hands on one of these things." And then I saw them in person, and I went, "Wow, they're small.
They're really small.
They're smaller than my 2-channel sound card I'm using." Like I was like, "Wow, these things are tiny." Not to say that they're bad, but I was really shocked at how small they were. Oh,
really small.
Yeah, do that again. Geez. Hold it up again.
There's a pop can.
It's like the size of those.
Did you get rid of the
hot tone things?
The orange?
This will screw it right up. I've got this. Hold on. Here we go. You got this guitar here.
Did you get rid of the orange?
It's huge.
The orange, I got rid of the orange. Yeah,
The orange head.
mini. You ever seen these? Actually, Nelson got me this. This is awesome. This is,
I got one too.
What's the company that makes these? This
I don't
thing is
know.
amazing. It's getting a little bit bright to show there, but these are little mini replica licensed. Like this is a Fender.
They sell them at Guitar Center here. They're really cool.
They're really nice. You got an SG?
Cool.
Do they have
these
strings
are
on them?
really
Or,
They have strings on them.
Yeah, they totally do.
Do they sell lefties? No.
They probably do.
Probably do.
Like the detail is amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It looks good.
So yeah, this is
Very
And
cool.
they come with a little stand, but they're expensive. They're like, these are like $60. Some of them are
yeah.
$60, $70, right? But
Wow.
So that's a
Well,
real
well,
guitar, world, man.
but
What are you
it's
doing?
amazing. Like if you look at the finish on it, it's
pretty cool.
it's finished as well as a guitar is finished.
It's got all the
And the
parts.
detail, I imagine somebody took a few minutes to make that.
So, anyways, now I'm gassing for this is totally just out of the blue. I think those Fender, the bass breaker. That's what they're called, right?
The
No,
15
you don't
is
want
the-
one of those, Lando. No
What's
bueno.
that?
No bueno. Richard
Compared
had
to
one.
this?
I had it
Oh,
in
yeah?
here. Garbage.
I've
Dude,
got
the
I've got
whole
mine
combo?
back here. I don't know if you can see that. And then you're talking about
The
one of those.
I want to try it first.
15s
Like,
are all right. I like the
Yeah.
15s more than the rest of the range. The rest of the range.
They didn't make them, and I just did a bunch of research on it because I just bought this. They didn't make them the same. Usually, when you have an amp with a series of different sizes or whatever, different watts, it's like they make them
Right.
basically the same thing. But like the 7 does something different than the 15,
Yeah, I
and then the
noticed that.
1830 does something different than the 45. It doesn't. Like this is the only one that had the DI out. Yeah, 7 had the
That
reverb.
one-
It doesn't have a.
The 15
My
has
friend Richard had the
switch,
15,
right?
and it made the worst racket. This,
Well, like a rattle
constant-
noise.
Yeah, it's like constant hum and rattle, and just we looked it up. It's a factory problem. It was if you owned
Oh,
it
really?
and had a receipt, you could have it repaired under warranty.
No.
I've only had mine for a week, so I can't really test it that much. But it does.
They
might
looked
sound
great.
great.
To me. They looked great aesthetically to me, and it sounded really good. But the rattle and the hum drove us both crazy.
Yeah,
Well,
I
the
think a
problem
lot
I'm
of.
having with mine is that. Sorry, Shane.
Oh, you're right. Go ahead.
Is the DI doesn't? There's no headroom on the DI, and you have to crank it in order. And maybe I just don't understand.
No, that's
Maybe I'm doing
exactly
something
how it
wrong
works.
at the desk or something. But like,
No. The
No?
master volume affects the DI output. I had a conversation with a friend of mine who comes on the community hangouts that we do. His name's Ryan. He's a heck of a player, and he has a very similar church setup to where you play and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
The reason he couldn't use it live was because he had to have the DI volume would change depending on how loud he had the amp. Whereas the Fender Mustang that he had, he could independently set the DI out at a separate volume to the actual volume of the amplifier itself or the speaker. So yeah, he encountered that same problem. I've seen
That's exactly what I recommend.
every bass breaker amp I've played. I love the 15 tone wise. I think they're great. They look awesome, but I've had exactly the same experience that Nelson's had, where every single one of the bass breaker amps I've played all rattle. They got cheap valves in them or tubes. It could be something else, but it sounds to me
It's a
like they might
warranty
have
problem
skipped.
that Fender's fixing.
Yeah. I wouldn't be
I'm
surprised.
just looking
if
for a
there's-
head right now too. I'm not looking for a combo. See, I missed.
Yeah.
This doesn't have reverb in it. Well, I guess they could have done a digital, but this doesn't. And not having a reverb, I don't like doing a pedal usually. I like having it in there. I like the tanks.
yeah.
But if I was to buy a bass breaker, it would be the 15 because it's got reverb, and I reckon
It
that
has
drive,
reverb, that's
that
right,
drive
yeah.
channel, that second drive channel, I think it is, sounds amazing. Like I reckon you don't even
really
need
good.
pedals. But
No,
yeah, you've just got to be.
15
I
doesn't
think,
have. Oh, sorry. Never mind. I'm sorry. You said the second drive channel. I was. You're talking about
switch
yeah, yeah,
number
yeah.
2, whatever it is. Yeah, the gain stage
Yeah.
2. Sorry. Like I reckon that's great. But the first thing I thought about was when I bought one. Unless if yours doesn't rattle from the get go, you should be fine. But I could hear that tube oscillation, like where the valves aren't.
Mhm.
There's something mechanically loose in them almost, and you can
Right.
hear them.
Well, I just bought new JJs. I'm gonna retube the whole thing.
Then you'll be laughing, and they're EL84s too, so you won't even have to bias it or anything. And someone in the comments also said earlier, thanks for your video on the amp biasing, Kennis, as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I didn't see that one in particular, but yeah, you said say thanks.
Yeah,
so.
how to bias the
yeah, that's one of those things that you end up finding out is way easier than you thought it would be, right, Kennis?
Yeah,
biasing an amp, like it's you think that there's some wizard behind the curtain, and you realize, oh no, this is real.
Isn't that like everything? Like, I mean, just as I worked on guitars, it's like the curtain's taken off your eyes on everything. You think that there's some special mojo that goes into it, and you realize 100%. That there's not. Like no. I made a video on how to paint a guitar for $10, and I mean, it's that guitar back there, but I mean, I just took a spray can and sprayed it. You know, put a little primer, can of spray paint, and you know, it's not the best.
But even soldering,
in the world.
Taking pickups in and out, or any of that kind of stuff.
It's funny though. Like one of the comments that I had when I made that video was something like, "Luthiers spend so much time in every single detail. I can't believe you would just paint a guitar." And I'm thinking, what the paint? Okay, like we've gotten to the absurd land of now the paint is making a difference in.
There's a lot of experts on the internet. Dennis, there's a lot of experts in the comments section on YouTube.
But even just intonation.
There's a lot of people who would have done it this way.
Yeah.
Nick, even just intonation, like for the voodoo stuff. Oh God, I had to figure the intonation out. Someone else has got some, and then you're like, oh, I'm moving a saddle forward and checking. Done.
Right,
flat forward, sharp or flat. Yeah, done. It's so easy. And the guitar setups and all of that stuff. That's stuff right now that I think that because I've done so many of them, that anybody who plays a guitar should not be at the mercy of having to pay somebody to set up your guitar. It's too easy to do. If you play guitar, that should be a thing that your guitar teacher teaches you. How to set up your guitar, how to change your strings, how to.
There's something to be said to bring it to someone to have them make it great to start, and then you can keep the thing in good kit. I've got a guy, Meridian Guitars in Boston. He's like a legend, and you drop it off, you pick it up a month later. And then all I do is adjust the truss rod a little bit, for the next 15 years. You know, it's just great.
I have taken it a bit further than that, but I reckon that there are some really basic skills in terms of like person who just buys a guitar brand new, for example, right? Like the person who just buys something brand new that shouldn't be too terribly out of square because it's new from the factory. Those skills are so easy, and I remember paying somebody $80 a piece, like to do stuff that I can now do in 10 minutes. Like I can do with my eyes closed in 10 minutes. And it's
the truss rod adjust. I was in a shop and I played a guitar like 3 weeks before when it first got traded in. I came in again, the action was super high, and Vic, the manager, takes the 3 screws of truss rod, turns it a quarter of a turn, eyeballs it, hands it back, try it now, and I was like, that's it. That's it. Oh shit!
Well, when you touched a lot of guitars, you get a certain feeling for it, right? Like so that's a benefit that I've had personally is that I've been able to touch a lot of guitars, and after a while, you get a sort of a feeling for it. So you can pick up a guitar and touch it, and within like 30 seconds, have a really good idea of what it needs to start to be playing well, right? And what is causing it not to play well right now. So,
and that whole thing of getting a guitar new from the factory and thinking that it's set up perfectly is absolutely not the case. I don't buy new guitars, but you know, how many times have you been in a music store and you've played a guitar and you're like, how did this get out of the shop? That's what I think, at least.
Agree, 100%.
I think new players sometimes just they don't know what the guitar will need to be fixed. Hang on, that made no sense. New players don't understand what to fix to make it feel better. I know I was like that. I was like, I don't.
But
understand.
I think a lot of new players will quit playing guitar because the guitar doesn't feel right. Because the guitar is hard to play.
You could be absolutely right about that. I always was like, something doesn't feel right. I'm choking out here, but I don't know why. back in the early days. Now I very, very rarely take anything to someone to fix it unless it's fret work. I don't own enough tools and I don't have enough patience to do a good job on that.
Right, but mostly you're not at the mercy of someone else. Mostly
pick up changes, all that sort of stuff. I do it myself now, yeah. Unless I totally butcher something and I can't work out what I've done wrong, then I'll take it to someone that might know a little bit more. But I'm lucky with my friend circle. We all know enough about stuff now to kind of go, hey, can you take a look at this? He goes, yeah, you haven't earthed it. It's this wire. I'm like, oh, yeah. So there's always...
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who just bring guitars here.
Present company.
I'm the guy who people are happy to have as a friend. Oh, something's not working. Yeah, just bring it by here. No, but I'm happy to get people's guitars. I love it. I love seeing people's guitars. It doesn't matter what it is. And I could never imagine doing this as a business. Never.
You wouldn't want to do it. I don't think you would. You probably wouldn't want to do it as a business, just because. Yeah,
it would kill me.
I think it's one of those
I'm not that guy.
You would love what you would do, and then you would start hating it.
Yes, immediately. You hit the nail on the head. If this started feeling like work, I would hate it.
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%. Which is why. Every guitar I get, I'm still genuinely, I don't know if it comes across in videos, but I'm still genuinely really excited to get most every guitar.
Sure.
I think, even all of us would still be like that. I'm not that way inclined so much now with pedals because I've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. But in terms of guitars, I love getting my hands on new stuff still. Like, I still get excited when stuff turns up via courier. I'm like, oh, cool. And I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah. But it's good. It's good. You keep the you keep it fresh and not too serious is a good way of keeping the fun in it too. So
have you guys maybe who have maybe don't play quite as well as Shane? Have you noticed that your playing has improved at all since you've been making YouTube videos? Because I noticed mine has. Like I feel like mine has personally.
I know mine did after I started doing videos as well. You force yourself to play better so people don't.
Yes, so that people aren't like on you in the comment section, right? Like you force yourself to play and play. And I've recently started taking lessons because of that again. And I feel like it's forced me. I feel like making the YouTube videos, and I'm not saying that. The reason I'm saying that is because I feel like everybody's reason for playing guitar seems sort of like driven by, oh, I'm in a band and I'm going to be doing my recording and I'm going to make my EP or whatever it is. But there are a lot of reasons. There are a lot of reasons to have motivation to play my guitar. And mine personally is to be able to play that 10 or 15 or 30-second lick at the beginning and the end of the video well enough that it's entertaining. Right, and that's my reason to continue to learn to play guitar better. That's why I've been making fewer videos. Actually, is because I've been playing more instead of just pumping out crappy little video after crappy little video. I'm trying to make the videos a little bit more entertaining in that way.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Fewer videos, but better quality.
So,
but anyway, sorry. I've been monopolizing your whole thing here.
No. It was a good point. I was just going to say, if anyone else wants to contribute to that, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not as much progress as I would love to make, but there's something like it's made me rethink how I play the guitar demo in a video to try and have a plan. Because the videos where I didn't have a plan, I just start noodling, and then you go back to cut it, and you're praying to find 10 or 20 or 30 seconds that doesn't completely suck to put out there. And oftentimes I failed at that, and whatever, it goes out there, and that's how it goes. But I find it so much more now. It's watching back and listening. Once I get my recording rig better, to hear the tone that I'm getting back through and start tone chasing a lot more for the particulars, where maybe before I didn't increase the treble a little bit, that for me, those little changes inspire me to play better by having it start to sound better and better and better, so that you kind of start chasing yourself, which is cool. I still got a hell of a long way to go.
I think also, just on a point, most people don't realize they improve until you go back and you look at older videos. Like, I've lost certain things in my playing that I wish I still had, but I've changed a lot and sort of evolved over the years. Like even 3 years ago when I did those last lot of videos at Jerry's, I watched them and I went, wow, like my playing sucked. And I realized like I hadn't played for 8 weeks up until I filmed, and I knew I was struggling because I lose my chops really quick. The best playing I've had was while I was at Jerry's this time, spending 8 hours a day playing for 4 or 5 days. I was like on fire after that. But yeah, it's one of those things you don't realize how much you improve. Even if you just play a little bit a week, you do get better. Even playing the things that you play, you'll play them smoother and with more confidence and all that kind of stuff. I think one of the cool things is too, just to try to get out to sort of change what you already do, put the pick down, play with your fingers, or do something with a pick that you normally play finger style. And I think even that can breathe variation into your playing as well. Just a bit of food for thought. I know once I started using my fingers again more, I never used to use a pick up until I saw a lot of friends of mine playing with picks. And I kind of wish I had stuck to playing more finger style stuff, because I was like, this sounds really unique. You know, it's very different.
Cool.
So
yeah, for sure. Pick. That's one thing I can mention. I used to play with where am I on camera there? Is that even holding up? I used to play with those floppy, huge things. And just this year, I don't know how I got into it. I play with the Eric Johnson Jazz. Maybe it was Nelson told me about it. These are thick and hard plastic, and I just love these now. I can't play with these.
I got you into the thick picks now, eh?
I think so.
They're awesome, eh? You just have so much more control.
Yeah. You got to try the chicken picks as well. They're awesome.
I've had those.
What's that one, Nick? What's that one?
I like that. It's wood ones. I got these from. It's nice because it's big, but it's not as abrasive big, so that when you're hand fisting a pick like I do, it doesn't quite chime as much as a big, heavy, thick pick does.
That's me, ride or die, baby.
Oh yeah, well,
2 mil.
I've been using those are good. The Gators are good. I've been using the chicken picks. They sent me a couple, I think around the time, Shane, that you got yours. And man, I used to use the Dunlop like 0.38s or whatever, like super thin ones.
Yeah, that's right.
On acoustic, and then when I started playing electric more. But man, when I started playing the chicken picks, I was like, wow, there's stuff you can do that I couldn't do before. Takes a little while to get used to.
It takes the tension off your rhythm hand.
What do you ride? Okay.
Sorry?
What do you ride with? What kind of pick are you mostly picking up?
Yeah, chicken picks, 2.6 mil. I've been using them nonstop.
So you're a thick pick guy.
I really like the Dragon Hearts ones as well. They sent me a pack of they're kind of like chicken picks, but they're shaped a little differently. I have no idea.
Yeah, I've seen those.
I have no idea. They like hit the floor and evaporated. I don't know what happened to them. They just disappeared. They were really great as well.
There's a corner of the universe that has a mountain like the size of Everest.
But see, the thing that turns me off about those, though, is that they're hard to get. Right? I buy a package of 25 of these off of Amazon for $6 or $7, and I know I'm going to lose all of them in 2 or 3 months, and I know I'm going to be able to get exactly the same thing in another package. And those other picks are great. Like I got sent a few of those chicken picks as well, and I couldn't come to make a video for them because I don't like it when things are hard to come by, right? Like when something's hard to get your hands on, and I know I can't just turn around tomorrow and get it if I lose the one $25 pick that I have. Sure, it might be great, but I can't get another one tomorrow.
No, the one thing I've noticed with more expensive picks,
so a lot of mine are driven by this.
No, fair enough. I leave my chicken picks somewhere where I know where they are. I've still got my original ones since they sent me like 2 or 1 of each type or something, and then I ended up getting a couple more of the 2.6s off a mate of mine that I got some for. He gave them back to me because he moved on to some other picks, and I've still got them, and I make sure I don't lose them. You know those coin pouches in your jeans? I only have 2 pairs of jeans, so I'm good. I've just put them in there. I haven't lost them in ages. I've always got a pick on me if I need to, go to a shop.
There's always a handful of these on our washing machine.
Yeah, yeah. So guess what, guys? It's been 2 hours already.
This is fun.
That was awesome.
I'm terribly sorry for talking so much.
For what? Sorry.
Monopolizing so much of it.
Hey, no, not at all. It's been good. I was just going to say, if anyone's got any last questions, feel free to type them in the chat here, and we'll just spend a couple of minutes seeing if there's any more questions here. Feel free to ask anyone whatever you like. If it's
what about you, Kennis? While we're waiting, what do you go to? What's your go-to pick now?
Well, when I'm playing acoustic, I still use those Dunlop 0.38s, and sometimes even electric. But I use the chicken picks also.
Yeah, you're big on the chicken picks now.
The smaller one, Shane, I don't even know what it is.
Yeah,
because they sent me the pack of 3. Is that the 2.6? That's the smaller one.
Yeah, that's a 2.9, I think, or something like that.
Okay, well that one I loved and used it for like 6 months, and I knew I was going to lose it, and I lost it, and then I ordered a pack of 3, and then I did exactly what you did. There's one in my wallet, and then there's 2 on my mixer where I play at church. And those are the only 3 that I have, and they stay there because I know I'm going to lose it otherwise. But hey, I was going to say this before I go, or before we end this. I wanted to, just tell everybody, if you haven't already, subscribe to Landon's channel too, because I was watching it today. Really good channel, especially a lot, as we all know, like as I think Landon, you have around 1,700 subscribers or something like that. And you are putting out really good content for a channel that doesn't have as many subscribers. So, yeah, I mean, like, I was very impressed with that. So everybody subscribe to Landon's channel. Yeah.
Check out all of the links, guys. I've posted, if you refresh the video on YouTube now, it'll show all the links in the description. I realized I didn't do that on this one. I did it on the...
Yeah, Lando and Nick both. Lando and Nick both need about a bajillion more subscribers.
Subscribe to Nick's too.
Okay. I look at these guys. No. It's funny that you say that, Kennis, because I look at these guys and I go, "Oh, these are 2 legit guys." And how is it even possible that somebody like some clown like me has as many subscribers as I have when there are people who are like a bazillion times better than mine?
You're in an interesting niche.
Nick and Lando.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So I just got asked to post all the links in the chat. I can't actually post links in the chat. It won't let me do it. So just refresh the YouTube video, even if you're watching it live now, and it will be in there. So, yeah, Nelson's got a whole lot of subscribers, and I think it's
crazy.
Yeah, it's just because it's a different side of guitar. It's not focused so much on the gear. Well, it is gear channel, but it's different. It's sort of like not a gear channel at the same time.
I personally think that people subscribe to a YouTube channel mostly because they like the person.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
I most of the YouTube channels that I really like the person. And I think
unsubscribe because you don't like the person, right?
I think any traction that I've gotten on YouTube has been is probably because people like me as a person more than what they're gaining from me. Because I'm not a how-to channel. Nobody's learning anything from me. It's just entertainment, right? Like it's just completely nonsense. Some idiot in his basement, right? But from that perspective, I think it's like I'm just putting stuff on YouTube that I would want to personally watch, and I would probably personally watch a clown like me in his basement doing silly things that I do. You know what I mean? Like, man. That's just it, right? Like, I don't look at analytics. I don't check likes versus dislikes. I don't look at any of that stuff. I just make videos that I would personally want to watch. That's it.
No, that's good.
When there's something too from coming at it from humility. I think when Nelson, especially your channel, and I think all of us try to have that degree of we don't know everything. And when we just throw something at the wall, we tell people we're throwing something at the wall, and who knows how this is going to end up, and it's not like and that's why like I stay out of like tone wood debates or things that I really don't know nearly enough, or it's a minefield, because A, you're never going to win.
Poke the bear every now and again.
Yeah, and B, like it's I don't know. It's not for me. I'd rather just talk about stuff that's have fun with it and try and find
but you got your thing, Nick, man. You got your thing. You got the wall of 100 guitars and a cool new rig every time you show up on YouTube.
It's fun to watch too.
Like and Nick's cool, right? Like, but that's what I was gonna say. Nick's cool to watch. I watch Nick because I like Nick. I watch all of you guys because I like you guys, right? I think that's the thing that people forget. Like,
that's
good enough is good enough.
Cool. Well, guys, thanks so much for hanging out. And
buddy.
if anyone wants to host the next one, I'm happy to jump on someone else's channel. Otherwise, I'll invite you back at some point.
We can Lando27Music.
Might take a few years. We'll wait.
No.
We can. If we throw the promo behind it, we can get people there. I think that's
for sure, dude.
Push people
and
there.
What a lot of people don't realize is you can share other videos on your YouTube feed. So what I normally do, if I see something interesting, I'll post it on my feed to get someone else views. And when Kennis posted his videos of us, I shared them on my feed, and people can see it pop up on my channel. So I don't re-upload them. I just share the links. So that's all we need to do. We just need to share links via the YouTube feed, and that's it. So it should be fine. But yeah, no, I really appreciate you guys hanging out, and thanks to everyone who was in the chat as well. It's been a cool live stream. Check out these guys, like I said, refresh the page and check out all the links and subscribe to them. I know most of the people that are subscribed to my channel probably already subscribed to some of these guys already, but yeah, if you don't know the rest of them, check out their channels, and it's been great having you guys on. So hang out for a sec, guys, while I go offline here. But yeah, appreciate everyone hanging out. Thanks to all the regulars in the chat. Thanks to Terry Bear.
Yeah, thanks,
Shane, for putting us on. It's
Thanks, boys.
Hey, my pleasure. I appreciate someone wanting to turn up. That's always a good thing. So, all right, guys, take care. Have a great day or night wherever you are, and yeah, check out the channels, folks. Catch you soon.
Night.
Night.
All right.